Hi, everybody, and welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 26. I am your host, and with me, as always, is my teenage son, Jackson. Say hello, Jack.
Hello.
Ready for take two?
Yep.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we had that lovely thing that happens to every podcaster. Second time for us, where we lost everything we'd recorded.
Yes.
So we had done an hour of this already, so we're doing take two. We're going to try and make it as lively as we can, but I am, for one, I'm intensely frustrated at this point.
Yes.
But we're going to try and hide that from you and talk about stuff we just talked about again and make it sound like it's the first time. Ready, buddy?
Yep.
So welcome. We're in Southern Ontario. Lockdown is still ramped up. We are actually supposed to stay in our homes unless we go out for essential goods or
Like Booster Juice.
for exercise. So we considered walking to Booster Juice, exercise, and essential. So we still did that.
Yes, it is both.
Even recommended to wear masks outside if we can't guarantee 2 meters apart. So things are interesting. Online schooling till at least February. I'm going to guess even longer than that. But we'll see. That's the state we're living in right now. Quick thanks to all of our listeners, any of our listeners. We had our best day. I was telling Jack, we had our best day ever for listeners on Thursday. So it was pretty neat. Again, I have no idea because the stats are apparently not that great when you're looking at podcast stats, but it's all I have to look at. So basically our best day ever, and it was kind of all over the map. I always assume people are going to listen to our most recent publications. Not necessarily true.
One of the most recent ones.
Yeah, like a best of or episode 25, but it was kind of all over the place. 15
even
and
24,
16.
I wouldn't be super surprised.
Yeah, but no, so 15, 16 got some listens. So thanks to everybody. That's really cool. If you are listening and you'd like to contact us for any reason, we would always appreciate it. FNSwrestling@gmail.com. That will come to me. And if you'd like to contact Jackson, or it's just easier for you, FNS_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. And he'll be checking that on a regular basis.
Yep.
So in the world of sports that I know you love, talked about it last week, my Cleveland Browns out of the playoffs for 18 years, made the playoffs and actually won their game. So they are playing again tomorrow.
Nice.
As an avid sports fan, this weekend is one of my all-time favorites because it's second round of the NFL playoffs, 2 games each day, Saturday, Sunday, usually really good games. So that is my plan if we ever get this recorded and published, my plan is to watch some hopefully entertaining football games.
At least we were actually ahead of schedule today, so there's at least that.
So now we'll just be slightly behind schedule instead of way behind schedule. So that is nice. The Raptors won their most recent game, which I was happy about. Still didn't look good doing it, but we'll take what we can get. Anything else? The weather's beautiful again. It's like 0 degrees here, so really warm for Southern Ontario. It's been a really mild winter for us. And just getting through your online schooling went okay this week, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got a PA day, so they had a non-educational day on Friday, so they got some extra video gaming and whatnot, whatever you guys do while your mother and I are working.
Yep.
So yeah, we're all set up in
correct.
different areas of the house doing our online working and schooling, and it's going okay so far, I guess, as well as can be expected.
It's fine, yeah.
Other people are struggling more than us, so we can't complain too much.
Yep.
Anything? We're doing our banter for the second time. Anything
No.
you want to talk about?
Not much.
You want to move into our news and rumors?
Yeah.
All right, so our first segment, as always, we're going to talk about on our weekly show is news and rumors. So let's do that.
Let's.
So normally I start out with our ratings for the week, and I'll do that again here. So week 65 of the Wednesday Night Wars saw AEW's New Year's Smash Night 2 edition draw 762,000 viewers. That's up 15% from last week. And it topped NXT this week, who did 551,000 viewers, which was up 14% for them. And basically, both were really down last week because of I didn't mention it last week, but their ratings were low due to the news that had broken out in the States on that day, right? So that was the sort of siege on the Capitol, for lack of a better term. So a lot of people were watching the news and not so much wrestling at that point. So that's why their numbers were down a bit last week and rebounded. NXT did not rebound so well, but AEW definitely did this week.
Yep.
When it comes to the demographic rating, AEW drew a .30.
Oh yeah, NXT got their second worst, right? So.
Yes, sorry. The ratings of 551,000 was their second lowest audience for a first run show, only behind the March 18th episode in 2020, which was their first show with no fans. So their second worst ratings ever. AEW drew a .30 in the 18 to 49 demographic, which was up 20% from last week.
Well, you could say NXT, drew their worst ratings of the year.
Yeah, that is true. NXT drew a .14 in the demographic, which was down 12.5%. And the first time we did this, I had you sort of guess. I actually just came across NXT's ratings. I won't do it every week. It's just sort of something I saw, so I would include it just so we have some idea of what they're kind of earning in viewership. So they had 161,000 viewers with a .05 in the demographic. What would that be on Tuesday, I guess, this week?
Yep.
So basically, AEW bounced back this week and won easily as NXT had one of their worst ratings weeks ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did not bounce back.
They did not. News from you, sir?
So
I'll act
Bailey,
like I haven't heard it before.
Bailey told Triple H she wants in on the Dusty Cup. Like, she tweeted it, tagged
Right.
Triple H. I think she'd be decent in it, but
I told you I was not happy about this because even though I really like Bailey, I think she's awesome and she has a massive history at NXT. I just don't want any main roster people back on that show. I want NXT to move far away from main roster and not have them crossing over. I fear
yeah, I see what you mean.
Once they start bringing former NXT people back to NXT, maybe they decide, well, why don't we bring some people that have never been there before? And that's what I really don't want, right? I want this to be a separate entity away from the stink of the main roster.
You could argue bringing people back like Shinsuke or like Keith Lee or Ricochet or Shayna Baszler, people who would like benefit from it and like probably benefit NXT.
Right.
But like, I think Bailey could benefit NXT. She might be one of those examples. But like, I don't know, someone like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, you could argue, yes, is NXT, but he's been away for so long.
And he's such like he's just a main roster guy now, right? Like Keith Lee, you could say he's fresh on the main roster. He still hasn't accomplished
Even
a ton.
Matt Riddle, I would say like he needs to be back in. Apollo Crews, probably.
Yeah, I don't want that floodgate to open where people are moving on to the show that I want to keep separate.
There's a bunch of people I want back, but then I don't think I could trust them for who else they bring back.
My next bit of news was good news for me because I'm the guy that watches Impact Wrestling every week, and Josh Matthews did win my worst commentator of the year, and that is that new commentary team for Impact Wrestling starting tonight as their Hard to Kill pay-per-views.
Yes, you were very happy.
I was. So Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown will provide commentary going forward for Impact Wrestling.
Has D'Lo Brown, has he ever done commentary before?
I think he did a little bit, and I forget. I should be using his Impact name, but DeLorean Brown. Is that what it is? But
some pun.
So Josh is moving, quote unquote, promotion into a production role, and Madison Rayne, I think I mentioned it in the news a couple weeks ago. She's moving on to something outside of wrestling. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really matter to me. But I am glad for a freshening up of their announced team for sure. So
yes,
I am looking forward to that. Anything from you?
So the earliest Drew McIntyre can return after he tested positive for COVID will be January 25th, Raw. So that should just give him time before the Royal Rumble.
That's good. He's had a really great
run
I
think
during
it
the
would
pandemic.
Be a shame if their champ could not be.
It'd be a shame if he
one
can't
of
be
their biggest pay-per-views.
Right, one of the big four, and he couldn't make it. So I'm glad to hear he's going to be back. A little surprised to hear WWE so freely admitting that he does have COVID because they've sort of been almost denying its existence for quite a while. So it's interesting to see they're sort of transitioning into, yes, it exists, and yes, our superstars actually catch it from time to time.
Superstars.
So I had a bit of a note on some stats on, which wrestlers bring in the most viewers on some of the shows. So you were not happy to hear who was brought in the most viewers for NXT during 2020 with an average of 47,000 new viewers per every segment she was in. And that was, talking about not wanting main roster people coming back, Charlotte Flair, where she was there, right?
Yeah, even though she was in NXT for quite a bit. I don't think she's one of those people that's really synonymous with NXT. Like,
definitely
despite
not
being there for a while.
Yeah, she's been gone so long and so prominent.
She's done so much on the main roster and has been pushed so prominently. I just think she, like, even if she started NXT and was here for a while, she just doesn't belong in NXT anymore.
Right. She's too big for it, right? And I say that being a person who loves NXT. She's too big a star to be there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So according to a report from the Wrestling Observer, it was Charlotte Flair. And then good news for Rhea Ripley, a feather in her cap. She has the distinction of being the only wrestler on Wednesday night, so of either show, who for every segment she appeared in did better than the segment before it, right? So somehow she gets ratings,
cool.
Apparently. Yeah. For AEW, it was Moxley who drew the most viewers with an average of gaining 20,000 per segment. And then the list of the other people who influence the ratings are what you would expect. So it's Orange Cassidy, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, MJF, Darby Allin, and Eddie Kingston. So no real
surprises there. Yeah.
Nope. Pretty much what I expected. Anything else from you?
Kevin Owens was Adam Pearce got Kevin Owens to sign the contract, and he's gonna replace Pearce to face
goodness.
Reigns. I know for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble in a last man standing match. No surprises there. These guys are going to beat the crap out of each other. Owens gonna take a couple crazy bumps. Roman might too, and they do this match quite a bit.
Yes.
I was saying I think.
During version 1.0 and when you were telling me this
Triple
before.
H and Michaels had one in 03. I think they went to like a draw.
Yep.
Because I remember playing that in the 2K15 showcase.
Right.
Cena and Umaga had one. I think it was 07. And then 2016, more recent one, Owens and Ambrose had one for the IC title. And I feel like there's something else, but just like they usually do these matches. Even like Roman and Owens had like a Universal title match, ironically, in 2017, in like a no DQ match.
Yeah, I'm always happy for Owens to get more time on TV. He's awesome.
The roles were reversed.
I imagine he's just going to take a beating in this match, but he's kind of filling that role right now of taking a beating but never giving up. Like you said it was sort of like Mick Foley sort of deal, right?
It's weird.
That's great.
3 years, or I guess 4 years later now, the roles are reversed. Like Roman's champion now, and also the belt's different, the other color.
Yep.
And now it's like another one of those no holds barred type matches.
And we've seen it before, but the dynamic should be really cool, where you just have this mega heel unapologetically beating on Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens just refusing
to
die.
To take that beating.
Yep. So it should be an interesting match. It's definitely a more interesting match than Adam Pearce being involved. So probably a good move by them.
Yep.
Anything else?
Didn't you have another thing?
I do. WrestleMania, they said, is likely to be pushed 2 weeks until April 11th, and the actual location has still not been officially decided. So at first I thought that was weird because
I think it'll just be like whatever Florida
probably
spot.
But you're just in the mindset of, right, well, how are people going to get there and selling tickets? Oh yeah, none of that matters, right? So you can really wait till the last minute if you need to decide where and when you're going to do it, because people aren't coming anyways, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they think they're waiting out COVID by pushing it 2 weeks. It doesn't seem realistic to me. So I'm not really sure why the motivation is. Maybe they're just hoping by then they can get a few fans or something. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But if you're a person that watches Mania, as most people do, it's been pushed 2 weeks as of now.
Yes. I got a thing that kind of... I'm just going to move my chair up. It kind of spoils NXT a bit, but MSK was hyped throughout the day of NXT.
Yes.
A mystery team who are going to face... who was it? Swerve, Scott, and Atlas.
I couldn't remember either, and now I know why.
Yeah. And it turns out to be former Impact stars, the Rascals.
Yes.
This was, in fact, Wentz and Dez. Wentz now goes by Nash Carter, and Dez now goes by Wes Lee.
Yes.
So good for them.
Yeah, very pleasant surprise for me. I'm big fans.
They definitely have the potential to be the focus of this division.
I'm hoping.
In such a lackluster tag division, because like AEW, they would probably be allowed to do more, but they also probably get lost in the shuffle.
That's exactly the phrase I was going to use, lost in the shuffle.
Right.
So yeah, they're my favorite two of the three Rascals. Trey is super talented. I talk about it all the time. His offense doesn't look like it has much impact.
But I think he could be maybe a decent hand, at least in the cruiserweight division.
Oh, for sure. These guys are really talented. They work well together. They're young guys, but they've been wrestling together for quite a while, so they're pretty polished already.
It's like they're experienced, but they're like young as well.
Dez is pretty small, so I'm hoping they don't have an issue with that, because sometimes WWE does, but NXT is less
sometimes.
So I'm okay. We talked about it before. I'm okay if they're sort of one of the main focus of this tournament.
No, I think it would be actually smart.
Because they're kind of out of nowhere and they are a really fun team to watch. I think people are going to enjoy seeing their fast-paced action. So I'm really happy. It was a nice surprise to see them in the tournament.
Yep.
My last point I had was another good news for us, because we like him and we like the theme, is that Shinsuke Nakamura, and apparently he's really happy about it too.
Why wouldn't he be?
He has his original theme back now that his face turn has been completed. And I think that's a great news, because that song is awesome.
Yeah, and I've heard he might be against Reigns at Mania, which would be awesome.
Cool. Yes, they should build this guy. He is, I mean, they've been trying to use him lately, but he is a lot more of a superstar than they're sort of presenting him as. If they do it properly, he could be a big deal. So he was my favorite wrestler in the world many years ago before he came to WWE. So I have hope that he can sort of be put back up to that status within WWE. He's amazing. And that song helps his overall presentation, especially when we get back to fans and they can do more of the live performances of it, because they're always excellent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else news-wise for you?
So there's this a superstar that's going to be leaving WWE, I think, next month. And there's been rumors that it's going to be Ricochet, but actually his contract is expiring in summer 2024. So
Poor Ricochet.
way off.
So you're going to stick on main event till then, buddy, I guess. You
Yep.
know?
And losing other matches.
It's unfortunate because he's just really bad on the mic, and I'd hoped that he would improve by now, and he hasn't. So they're just sort of not using him at all. He would be an asset in any other company, right? And we're watching Lucha Underground now. We just watched episode 1 last week. You wanted to check it out, and you get to see him there just wrestling. He has a talented mouthpiece with him in Conan, right? Who can speak for him, and he actually says almost nothing, I think, the whole time in Lucha Underground, and he just wrestles, and it's the perfect way to use him. WWE hasn't figured that out yet, so they just choose to really not use him at all, or use him to just lose to every member of Retribution, I think, right? So unfortunate for him that he doesn't get a chance to leave a bit sooner. But I was reading that article, or that little news bit too, and it was basically them saying he signed, unfortunately, when they were signing up everybody to try and keep them from going to AEW, and that's why he got such a long contract too, because they were just trying to steal all the talent they could to sort of stop AEW from getting anybody good, basically. Nice. All right, anything else for you in the news?
Nope.
World of news? So that will lead us into take 2. So act surprised by my amazing takes, right?
Oh,
of
yes.
our in-depth Wednesday night
should mine.
review, and that will be our AEW Dynamite review. All right, sir. Let's get into it.
So our opening match is Eddie Kingston versus Pac. We got a pretty nice pre-match package here.
Loved it, actually. I thought it did a really... Because, again, I struggle remembering things. I watch a ton of wrestling. So this package, especially when they're really done this well, reminds me of what's going on and makes me a little bit more interested in the match that's coming. I thought this package was great and fit perfectly here.
So Pac just charges in, hits an immediate shotgun drop kick.
So fast.
And he hits like the Spaceman plancha move over the top rope, which was pretty cool. It's like one of those acrobatic dives that just looks insane.
Yep.
Then he sends Kingston to the barricade, back in the ring, 4 corner pump kicks in a row in different corners. So it's like he does it. I'm like, oh, he's gonna do something else. Nope, he does the same thing.
A tour of the ring with pump kicks.
Is he gonna do something else? Oh no, he's doing the same thing.
And nice looking pump kicks too. Everything he does looks good.
Yeah, it's not that it looked bad. It's just like
4 of them.
Yes, lots. Top rope shotgun dropkick by Pac. He always makes that look like way too good.
Everything he does just looks a little bit more forceful than what everybody else does. There's something about him. I always say it's like 30% more impact somehow. I don't know what he does. Kicks, suplexes, dives, everything looks a little bit better when he does it to me.
Oh, sorry. Knee strike by Pac. Knee drop to the back of the head by Kingston. Not like top rope like Kyle O'Reilly, but like just knee drop.
Yep.
Standing knee drop. Bunny gets a cheap shot attack on Pac, which
Nice.
I did say
Poetry.
earlier. Yes. And then you said that exact thing.
I did.
While ref
Take
is
2,
distracted. Exploder suplex on outside by Kingston. Yeah, it's the computer shut off just before off the top of his head.
Yeah, I was just about to do my first off the top of his head clue, and it shut off. So
Yeah.
that'll all be brand new at least.
Yeah, at least.
From there on.
So no cheating there.
Right.
Neck breaker for 1 by Kingston. Chop by Kingston. Corner chops by Kingston. Strike exchange. Kingston's chopping. Pac is hitting forearms. Kicks in a German suplex by Pac. It always looks cool. I remember when he was Cruiserweight champ, he defended against Jack Gallagher at Fastlane 2017. I remember he shoved him into the ropes and hit this nasty German suplex.
And his kicks are so fast and so stiff looking, and then this German just all of a sudden, I love that little flurry.
Yeah, it looks... Especially when it's a smaller guy like Gallagher, he just gets the snap German effect on it.
Yeah, it looked great.
This was less of that, but it still looked amazing. I don't think he's gonna do a bad one.
Right.
If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was cool. Saito suplex for 2 by Kingston. Those always look cool.
It was nice,
Corner chop by Kingston. Damagiri by Pac. Superplex for 2 by Pac. And the Black Arrow for the win. And then afterwards, he applies the brutalizer. Standoff between Death Triangle and Kingston's crew. Archer chases off the heels, Lance Archer. And Archer tells Pac to get on the same page or, like, get out of his way, kind of.
Right, so more tension between Archer and Pac. It looks like maybe leading towards a match between them that I'm hoping Pac wins, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think that'd be a very interesting dynamic.
I pretty much love this match as an opener.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
really
lie.
good. I enjoyed it very much.
I thought Pac looked awesome. Kingston did a really good job of contrasting Pac's style, right? Like he's going for more of the strikes and just simpler moves. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought the finishing sequence was a little bit awkward as Kingston kind of had to be brought right over to the corner. And he looked like he wasn't that out of it. He's even trying to grab Pac as Pac's going to climb the ropes, but then he doesn't get his knees up or move out of the way. The Black Arrow's hit and it's over. So I didn't love the finish, but it's not enough
Nobody
to sort
kicks
of,
out of the Black Arrow.
it's not enough to take away from the match. I think Pac's amazing, and Kingston can talk me into believing that any match is a big match, and he
does have,
delivered here in this match
quite the
too.
ability for that.
And I thought this was a great start to the show.
This is one of the things I enjoyed on the show. So.
Yep, it was great.
Miro versus Chuck Taylor, not so much. If Chuck loses, he has to be Miro's young boy.
No wonder. I wonder.
Chuck attacks. Tope con hilo by Chuck. Double foot stomp off the apron by Chuck. Chuck super kicks Kip Sabian after Sabian takes out Orange Cassidy. That's basically all Chuck gets.
Yep.
Samoan drop by Miro. Corner body blows and a belly-to-belly release suplex.
Looked nice.
Machka kick by Miro and the locks in the accolade / camel clutch. And Chuck taps. Miro wins. Chuck's the young boy.
Right. So I mean,
This was short, so
we knew Chuck was going to lose, and
yeah,
be
I
the
knew
young
it was
boy.
short,
That's where-
so it wasn't too offensive.
It was a dominant win by Miro for sure. He looked strong and he looked pretty good here, and I'm hoping it's the beginning of his rebuild. I was a little surprised at how little offense Chuck got, only because week after week, kind of, and even 2 matches later in this show, we're going to see inexperienced talent who get a ton against really established stars. So I don't know if their theory is to squash the somewhat established stars because they can sort of take it. They have a reputation already built up, and sort of protect the younger, newer ones and make them look strong. It's just a little bit odd for me. It might not be how I would do it, but I can't complain because this company's pretty awesome. So I just thought that was strange. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to see people later who I think should get squashed, get plenty of offense, and Chuck got nothing against Miro, basically.
Yeah, he got like the first few moves.
And then
right?
that
So-
was it. But we knew
yeah.
he was going to lose and be the young boy because that's where this story is going. So we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, I don't think it was gonna go another way.
Nope.
I think.
I agree.
Matt Hardy in private party interview. Matt Hardy requests to speak first. Quinn's upset. Mark Quinn is upset over Matt's percentage being taken of like their
Right, because
30
30%'s high. I think 10 is the normal.
right. Matt says they should have read the fine print, and then he kind of goes tyrant mode and gets
Definitely.
angry.
Yeah, so I didn't think Private Party were good here. They're really not great on the mic ever, in my opinion. Matt, I didn't love the first half. The second half was a bit better. And I'm wondering just what the plan is here. Is Private Party eventually going to buy in and turn heel? Because that would be kind of interesting. They need something. Or are they going to keep playing like the reluctant employees of Hardy the Tyrant? It wasn't super interesting to me so far, but I'm going to be patient because I've really been hoping for some development with Private Party that adds some depth to their character. So maybe this will end up being it. Because really, they haven't changed since they started at AEW. They're the young high flyers, right? And that's basically all we know about them. So I've always kind of felt they're missing something. So maybe this is the way to sort of get whatever that is. I guess we'll find out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Next we get Inner Circle's New Year's resolutions. Another good segment.
Yeah. I
Sorry.
liked quite a bit of this.
Hager's resolution is to win championships. MJF's is to continue to strengthen the Inner Circle bonds and get rid of fat people.
Yeah, so this was an interesting way for me. I think this is MJF's way of being, because he's been so nice lately, right, to members of the Inner Circle. Ortiz a couple weeks ago, Hager last week, sort of thing. So it's his way of reminding us, hey guys, I'm still a heel, right? Like I'm really nice and kind to the guys in the group, but I still hate fat people and we should get rid of them all. So it was like, I'm not a face, don't worry. I'm still a slimy heel. Nice reminder.
Ortiz is some like food thing that's in his.
He wants to learn how to make one of his mother's signature dishes, right? I didn't catch
Yes.
exactly what it was, but I think that was the gist.
Then we get Jericho's, which is to win the tag titles with MJF, and then Santana has a bit of an takes a bit of an issue with
He
this.
does,
As,
rightfully so.
As he's like, Jericho, you picked me and Ortiz to be like the tag team of the faction. So
Right. You specifically chose us to be the tag team of this group, and now you're making your own tag teams sort of repeatedly, as Sammy points out, right?
yeah, Sammy calls him a tag team slut, which
Yeah.
I thought was kind of funny.
Because he's tagged with Sammy and Hager and now
MJF.
MJF, right?
Right.
It's kind of true.
And Jericho says they're all the best, and any of them could win the tag belts.
Right.
And he says there will be a triple threat match to determine the official team of the Inner Circle to squash the beef like Wardlow and Hager did. At first, I thought it'd be like Jericho versus Guevara versus like Santana Ortiz, but no, it's Hager and Guevara. It's like a 3-way tag.
Right.
Hager and Guevara versus Proud and Powerful versus Jericho and MJF. So
For tag team supremacy.
yes, to determine the official team of the Inner Circle. So it's like,
Well, I like this take a lot that I had, but you're going to have to hear it again because I thought it was kind of an interesting take. So I thought this was really interesting and entertaining. And the idea for me that a faction can have an extended program sort of within itself and still deliver matches even and still stay together is super unique and interesting to me. So
yeah.
I would say
And
that
they have so many people in the faction, sorry, that it just like kind of works. Like,
it does.
and it's not too many people. It's not like NWO crazy yet.
And they're sort of dragging it out. WWE would have broken this group apart and they would have feuded and been back together by now, right? And AEW sort of does a nice, slow, long story. So this segment might have been a bit long, but I like where it's going, right? We have lots of drama and infighting happens in real sports on real professional sports teams. So like a football team with 50 or 60 people, they don't all get along. They have problems with each other. The difference is they sort of deal with it in the locker room, and AEW is putting it out here for us to see, right? People that reach this level in any profession generally have egos, right? And managing egos on teams and in groups like this becomes one of the most important and most difficult things to do. So I think the fact that this is a large faction that is like self-contained evolving feuds and matchups is a really cool idea and is quite clever, and I'm interested to see how they keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I like this segment
I agree.
overall.
Yeah, it was really funny, and these guys are like they're really good at comedy, but they're not like a comedy faction, right? Like, you know what I mean?
They're not.
Like, it's weird because it's like we were worried about Cameron Grimes like doing too much comedy and like him kind of falling into that, but like here, like, I don't know. It's different because I guess it's AEW, but like they're doing a bunch of comedy and then like
Well, and comedy's a small part of what they are, right? Instead of being the only thing they are.
yeah.
Like R-Truth is
Yeah, I think
just
that's a good
comedy,
point.
100%. This is like they'll have amusing phrases or things they say, but they're not 100% comedy. They're still a serious group, right? I'm quite
Yeah.
interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think that's also another one of the different things. I think just AEW know what they're doing
Yep.
a little more with that.
100%.
Cage versus Allen get a hype package, and it actually reminds us of a crucial part of this feud, which is Taz tried multiple times to be Darby Allin's manager.
That helped a ton, although I think you
Yeah.
missed the Dark Order page thing, but
Oh, did I?
I did really love this package
yeah,
as
I
well.
did.
Again, I forget stuff, right? I watch a ton of wrestling, and so this really helped me that I had forgotten that Taz had been recruiting Darby Allin, right? And that Taz is just a miserable sack, so he's going to hold that grudge. And it really did help me get into the match, so I liked it quite a bit too.
Yeah, and then they also mentioned the Sting part. Gross.
Yeah, who cares?
So I missed the part before this, which is the Dark Order interview.
Right.
Uno says they have to be better people, and learn from Brody Lee, and that starts next week. Hangman's gonna team with them next week. Reynolds asks when Hangman's gonna let them know about joining, and he says he's gonna he's gonna let them know after the match. Next week.
Right.
And they're all like, "Oh, he's gonna join!"
Yeah, they're all
Woo!"
celebrating that it's not a no, basically, right? We'll take that as a maybe sort of thing.
Yes.
There's something interesting about Paige and the Dark Order. It might be just Paige. I think I pretty much find him interesting in everything he does. He's just mysterious enough, right, to be interesting. And I was saying before that when the fans return, I think it's time to strap the rocket, as they say, to this guy again. He's a megastar. He's inherently interesting to me, and it seems like a lot of people because he's pretty beloved right now. I think he has like face of the company potential going forward, and that's not what I thought when this all started. Like I thought he was a nice complementary piece, right, to like Omega and the Bucks and whatever. But I think he has the potential to be just as big a deal as they are, if I'm being honest. So I'm
Even more so, I say.
most things he does I find interesting.
Because I think
this
Omega
included.
and the Bucks have already like been at the top of the wrestling game for a
Yes.
while, right? So I think this is Paige's chance to be bigger or as big as them.
And he can do it all in the ring and outside. So I think there's big things for him. And I don't know, I find his interactions with Dark Order somewhat interesting still.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's another guy who's like pretty good at comedy stuff.
Yep. And just enough of it, right? Like it's not his whole character, but it's part of his character.
Right. It doesn't make him look stupid.
No.
How Cameron Grimes.
I agree.
The Elite interview, they say how great it is to be back together. It's Bucks and Omega. So they're going to face next Varsity Blondes and Danny Limelight.
Rivera,
Yeah.
who I know well from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. He's actually a pretty talented wrestler. He's just very small. He's been on the indies for quite a while.
Yeah.
And he can work really well. So I'm always glad to see some of the indie guys that I've seen get a spot on a major promotion, even if it's just once. So I was happy to see him
and
here.
so Omega's like, should we do like the Elite entrance or whatever, or was it Omega or the Bucks? I don't know, but I think it was Omega actually. And then like Cal's like, no, you do your thing, and like they do their entrance and whatever.
Yeah,
right?
So kept it separate so Omega can do his.
Yeah, he gets the funny intro again, and the Bucks. Well, actually, so Callis does the intro for the Bucks, right?
Right.
But then it's actually the Good Brothers.
Yay, downgrade. You get a free downgrade this week.
Woohoo.
Yeah, that's okay, I guess.
And
I had a feeling
I guess that's why he wanted this separate entrances. I think it was like Omega who said it, because then it'd be clever, because like Omega said it to act like he wanted to team with the Bucks.
Right.
So like, although I don't remember who actually said it, so I can't confirm that.
I don't either, because I didn't make notes on that part.
I didn't either.
But
I just
we do get the match.
Yes, we get Omega versus Danny Limelight to start, and a kick from Gallows. Yes, that is confusing.
I know.
Varsity Blondes take out Gallows. Pillman tags in. Garrison tags in. Pillman tags in. Double team move. Danny Limelight tags in. Kataro Crusher by Omega. Woo!
You love the Kataro Crusher?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson tags in. Omega's now legal post-commercial break. Lots of tags. Shoddy triple splash by the Elite.
This is what will get better in take two. That it was a sloppy splash involving all of them, right? And Omega ended up doing the last bit, and it looked kind of awkward. It's really hard to explain, but it was not a very smooth move for sure.
No, it was not. Where am I?
I don't know. Use your cursor to click where you are. This
Insecurity
is the 10th time
by
I'm telling you
Danny
this.
Limelight. Pillman and Anderson tag in. Springboard shoulder block by Pillman. Garrison tags in. Blockbuster Spinebuster by Varsity Blondes. MSK did it better. Corner Flurry by the Elite, quote unquote. Buddha Doom by Anderson for 2, which is like kind of a knockoff Claymore.
Yes.
Danny Limelight tags in. Springboard is caught into a Spinebuster from Anderson. Magic Killer for the win.
Of course.
So the Bullet Club people win. John Moxley comes out. Mox charges ring, but Bullet Club easily take control of him. But Lucha Bros attack. Woo! Paradigm shift to a random. Suicide dive to Omega and some randoms. Bucks try to calm down Mox, but Lucha Bros super kick the Bucks. Good Brothers and Lucha Bros brawl. Omega escapes because he's a coward. And I thought this was a pretty decent squash match, but
and they
I like the aftermath as
They
better.
ended doing the too sweet thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to call it that anymore. I don't know what they're going to call it. Because I think that's a trademarked New Japan thing or something. I don't think they're allowed.
Wouldn't it be WWE?
I don't think so.
Or like, because
I don't know. All I've heard is they're not allowed to use it, so they're gonna have to call it something else. I don't know why. You can look into that on your own time.
Yeah.
I don't like that this match took so long and was so competitive. Omega at one point needed help from the outside from Gallows to take control of Danny Rivera, and even though I'm a fan of Danny Rivera, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like Chuck Taylor gets almost no offense against Miro, but Danny Rivera is getting the better of Kenny Omega for several minutes. So some of the action was fine in this. I'm glad to see Danny Limelight get some shine, but I think it should have almost been a squash similar to what Miro did tonight, especially considering how long the post-match segment was, which was fine. I like the interaction between the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers because it feels like something like AEW is better at going back at these subtle little things that happened weeks or months ago, reminding me and then building a match out of it. So I would love if they build another match between the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. If this little interaction can lead to that later, I'm all for it. So yeah, this was the stuff after the match. There was a lot going on and it was fine. I just felt the match was longer and more competitive than it probably should have been considering who was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next we get the waiting room, the Dynamite debut of this segment.
Yes.
Cody
Let's talk about it
Rhodes.
again.
Yes. So we got a studio audience.
Which I thought was funny right off the bat, that like treating it like an actual talk show with an audience, because Britt is like this delusional heel and she can sort of behave like it's a real talk show. So I kind of thought even that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you talk, dude.
Sorry. Baker tricks people by lying to them about a surprise under their seats.
Right, which is a reference. Oprah used to do this. She would host a show, and especially she would do like her favorite things, where she would talk about her favorite whatever books, could be anything, and then she would tell the audience to look under the chairs, and they would all get one, and they would all be super excited about it. So that it was kind of funny that she sent them to look, but then there was nothing there, and just laughed at them. I like that touch too.
Yeah, nice heel work there.
Yep.
And I just typed, watch Cody talk way too much about his child and news show, all his crap.
But that's what was funny too, because he didn't get to. She basically led him right to the point where he was about to promote the show, and then it's like she switches it, and it's what I was telling you, like trashy talk shows used to do. Maybe they still do. I don't know, because I don't watch them. But where they bring people on thinking they're there for one reason, and then surprise, it's something dramatic and awful so that we can catch your reaction, right? And I felt like that's what she's doing, is setting Cody up, thinking he's going to get a chance to promote all of the stuff that he always promotes. And then boom, nope, I'm bringing out somebody that's got a problem with you, and we're going to see what happens on live television. So I thought that was a cool touch too.
Yeah. Baker says she doesn't know how Cody got the gig. Cody is here now. Baker tells Cody to figure out who his guy is between Sting, Shaq, and Snoop, and then roasts his awful tattoo. She says she has another guess, and it's stupid Jade Cargill. Baker asks if Cargill wears that to the dentist, referring to her crappy outfit.
That was funny, because Cargill, it's not, I don't know why you hate this woman so much.
Bad. She
but
sucks.
she was in super flashy, like, ring gear. She's in amazing shape. I don't know if there's anybody in better shape than Jade Cargill. And anyway, she's wearing very sparkly, revealing ring gear,
really
and Britt just kind of casually says, "Do you always wear that to the dentist?" And it was just, her timing and delivery are excellent, and it was a very funny line for me.
Well, her debut was really awful.
It was really awful, but give the woman a chance. I don't know.
Baker asked if Cargill always wears that. Oh wait, never mind. I'm reading the same line.
Use your cursor.
Cargill predictably steals Cody's mic, which I knew was going to happen. Cargill says nobody cares that Brandy's pregnant, and Baker follows with 9 months, no Brandy, wink.
Right, she's just kind of in the background and makes this little comment. Again, the delivery and timing were beautiful, that she's sort of celebrating Brandy being gone for 9 months. It was awesome.
Where am I? I'm so bad at this. Cargill says she's going to beat up Brandy when she comes back. Shoves Cody. Red Velvet comes in, so basically Brandy's back.
Yep, just swap out Brandy for the most reasonable facsimile they could find within
the
company.
They have
and
to
it's
be
Red
like
Velvet.
related or something. They look identical.
Well, they look very similar, so it's an easy switch, I guess, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they just look so similar. Jeez.
Yep.
So Velvet slaps her, Cargill slaps her, I think, or I don't know. They slap each other. Thunder Rosa
pull apart is all.
Pull apart brawl, and then Thunder Rosa gets a video promo. Baker's gonna face her at Beach Break.
Yeah, I thought the Thunder Rosa video
it felt really random.
It was like a summary first pops up before she speaks on the Tron, and I thought that was really strange. But I thought the segment altogether was funny. Britt is a star, man. Yeah, the Thunder Rosa video confused me a little bit, and it was a long segment, but I did laugh a few times. Thunder Rosa was fine. The build for the match, it seems to be what they're going for, and I like it, is that Thunder Rosa's super talented in the ring, and she just wants to fight, and Britt just wants to talk, and do her dramatic heel, sort of arrogant, brash stuff that she does, which is super entertaining, and it's nice. It's this idea of one person just wants to stop the talking and get in the ring to fight, and the other person wants to keep talking and really doesn't want to fight too much. So I like that dynamic, and I'm looking forward to the match, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Next we get Jurassic Express versus FTR. This is
modified Jurassic Express.
Yes, it's Marco Stunt and
Jungle
Boy rather than Luchasaurus, which from an in-ring standpoint I'm a little disappointed, but from a storyline standpoint I think it makes sense. Yeah,
because if people remember last week, FTR sort of, the way I looked at it was they sort of talked their way into an easier match, right? So they basically convinced Marco Stunt to replace Luchasaurus. I thought that was a good point. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, because at least it's like then it makes sense. FTR is being smart boys.
Heels. Yep.
Which is again AEW just making it better. If it was WWE, I'd probably be mad because they'd just like if this would be like Hornswoggle, and then they make fun of him and whatnot.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy is a new theme. It's like an actual song.
Yes, they paid for the rights to it. I've heard, but I forget what the song is.
I've heard it before. Like I heard it in Goldberg's. I think
Another thing WWE hates doing is paying for actual songs.
I think the only time I can remember them doing it is, well, they probably had to do it for
CM
Undertaker.
Punk?
Yeah, CM Punk is the one I was thinking
Yep.
of. But they'd have to do it for
did.
Undertaker, right? When
Yep,
American Badass.
yep.
Both times, actually, I think, right?
Yep.
Because he had 2 different ones. Would there be any other ones that you could think of?
I don't know. But this is our second time recording this, so let's just talk about the match.
Yeah, true. Cash versus Marco to start. Marco avoids some attacks. Dax Harwood tags in. Marco slaps Dax. Suplex by Dax. Cash tags in. FTR lifts Marco by his hair and sends him back down. Overhand chop by Marco. Cash catches a moonsault. Cash catches.
Marco... catch can?
Oh my god. Okay. Marco counters into head scissors followed by a dropkick. Jungle Boy tags in. Double team moves by Jurassic Express. Dax tags in post-commercial break and a nice drop to hold elbow drop combo by FTR.
Yep.
Gory stretch by Cash. Jungle Boy hot tag flurry by Jungle Boy and a backstabber for 2. Top rope hurricanrana by Jungle Boy, but Cash Wheeler breaks the pin. Brainbuster to Cash by Jungle Boy. Marco tags in assisted senton by Jurassic Express for a 2 count. Dax counters the sliced bread. Low blow and a cutter by Marco.
Yeah, kind of like a tornado cutter.
Yep. Similar to Spike Dudley's Dudley Dog.
Right.
Tully shoves Marco into the ring post when ref is distracted. Jungle Boy is taken out by Cash after being sent to the barricade, and a smash contraption, which is now known as the Big Rig, but I will not call it that, for the win. And FTR pick up a win.
Slow down, man. Speed reading.
In one of Marco's best matches, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was good, not great. I didn't love, again, that FTR struggled to put Marco Stunt away. Jungle Boy looked good. He always does. He seems to work well with everybody. Another guy I did not think much of when this company started, and I think he's a huge star for them going forward. FTR know how to work a tag match, so this was never going to be bad. It was fine. I would have liked FTR to dominate a bit more and win fairly handily, because my hope was that they can dispatch this version of Jurassic Express. I almost always want to call them Lucha Express. Jurassic Express, and sort of work their way up to facing the version that would include Luchasaurus, just to sort of prolong this and get maybe a better match.
Luchasaurus.
But yeah, I thought this was okay.
Like I said, I thought Marco Stunt did really good here, compared to some of the other things I've seen from him.
Yep. Oh, he's a talented guy. It's just it's hard to make him look believable week after week.
Yeah, right? And just it's just hard when he's Hornswoggle.
Not quite, but yes, he's a small man.
Yeah. But I at least like AEW not making fun of that, though, right?
No, they don't. They never go out of their way to make fun of anyone's size, really, which I much appreciate.
Yeah, which WWE would be probably
all
over that, yeah. Yep.
And then it's impossible for them to get past that. Where do you go after that, right? So, no, it's definitely a much better treatment by AEW.
Next, we got Tay Conti, whatever, versus Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's World Championship. Should be another good effort from Serena Deeb. Holds and counters. Haven't typed that in a while.
Yeah, there was a lot at the beginning of this match. And not in a bad way. It's just that's what it was.
Just one of those matches.
Yep.
Heel hook by Conti, but she then switches into a calf crusher, which is a cool transition. Deeb does escape, though, and applies a headlock. Sliding lariat for a 2 count by Deeb. Pump kick by Conti. Full Nelson stunner that didn't really look like a stunner.
Yeah, it was full Nelson stunner question mark.
Yeah, by Conti for a near fall.
Yep.
Rock Lock by Deeb, which is the stretch muffler.
Stretch muffler that this
Rock Lock.
Has to say it every time. Get used to it, people.
It's fun.
Yep, fun for you.
Conti gets rope break. It rhymes. Fireman's carry gutbuster for 2 by Deeb, which looked cool. Rope assisted gory stretch by Deeb.
Also cool.
Yep. Pump kick by Conti. Backside roll through into the detox by Deeb for the win, which is similar to a Styles Clash.
Yes.
But not the same, actually. And Deeb retains the NWA Women's title.
Yeah, this was better than I expected. Lots of mat work to start, but then the pace sort of picked up near the end. I thought Conti pretty much delivered in probably her biggest match, right? And that's good for her. If she continues to improve, she could play a pretty big role in this company, because we've talked about this division needs something, right? So if she keeps getting better, and then I thought maybe if she and Anna Jay keep developing as well as they are, it would, and they're so close right now, right? It could lead to an interesting split down the line, and they could have maybe an interesting feud, maybe not over the belt, just maybe over their friendship or whatever.
And they could reintroduce the feud with the belt on the line.
If you needed to. Credit to Deeb, too. I don't love her because I don't find her character very interesting.
But in the ring, I think she actually has been pretty good.
She's really good and seems to be able to wrestle basically anyone. I thought this match over-delivered, and I was pretty pleased with it, actually. I thought it was going to be the low point of the show for me, and it was not.
No, it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was.
Deep's reign's been pretty good. I think one of the highlights was her match with Layla Hirsch.
Yeah, she gets a good match out of basically everybody.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not connected to her character.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
don't even know really what her character is.
Yoga mom. That
Female
wrestles,
DDP?
I think. I don't know. But she's good.
Proud and Powerful versus MJF and Jericho versus Guevara and Hager next week, as well as Matt Sydal and Top Flight versus Matt Hardy and Private Party, aka Hardy Party. Hangman Page, Colt Cabana, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Chaos Project, Groan,
No.
and poor TH2.
No Chaos Project.
I feel bad for TH2 because they're good. They just stuck with Chaos Project.
We just hope that they get the majority of the ring time.
I wish TH2 were teams like the Acclaimed would be better here.
Yes.
I would say, but
I wonder if this is -1's choice or something, though.
Yeah, -1 birthday celebration match this is.
Yeah, so maybe he chose the competitors.
Why would you choose Luther,
He's
man?
8. Well, turning 9.
I guess.
You like weird things when you're little, you know.
Yeah, Luther is weird.
Yeah. He's not
Update
good.
from maybe it's like another thing with 10 where maybe like he knows Luther from backstage.
Probably, right? Like he might just like the guys that are cool to me and friendly to me are my favorites, and that would make sense. If I were 8 years old, I'd probably be the same way.
Yep. Update from Miro next week with his new young boy. Nyla Rose versus Layla Hirsch next week. Poor Layla Hirsch
Yes.
because Nyla's not a great wrestler, and also Nyla's similar to Nia, and Nia Jax is not a good wrestler as well. So
The size difference will be interesting
Yeah.
to see.
but then also Layla's probably gonna get squashed pretty good. So
Probably.
and John Mox is gonna be in action next week. So woohoo!
Boy, those Miro Chuck Taylor segments could go either way. I could see them being entertaining or just awful.
Sucking.
So here's hoping they're good, but whew, I think it's
I
gonna
agree.
be.
They definitely have potential.
I think it's gonna be one end or the other of that spectrum, but we'll see.
No, I agree. But we'll have to see.
Main event time.
Yep. Brian
Yay.
Cage versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. Almost done the part we already did.
Yeah, that we're flying. Actually, it feels like we're flying through, but it's about the same amount of time.
Well,
so we didn't.
yeah, that's why I was trying to speed read.
Considering we're doing it twice, I'd say you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to speed read.
I know,
a bit.
but don't speed read because they didn't hear us do it the first time. Only
That's
I
true.
did. So they want to
Taz-
hear your lovely voice go through this. So go ahead, buddy.
Okay.
I feel
yeah.
better now. I was super raging mad at the beginning, but now I've sort of, as we're almost caught up, I feel better. So go ahead, sir.
Yep, we're making decent time.
We are.
So Taz is on commentary because, of course,
Yep. Why
drop
not?
kick to the leg right away by Darby and a suicide dive to the back of Cage. And then Cage catches the second attempt into a suplex
Crazy.
on the outside, which looked awesome.
And Darby didn't even dive cleanly. We were saying he sort of like clipped the ropes on the way by. So I think it probably made it even harder for Cage. It was almost more impressive that he still caught him and
Yeah, he like
got
kind
him
of
up.
had to like squat down a bit, right? Like
and just suplexed him on the floor after catching a 170-pound man out of the air. No problem. Yeah.
And then a short arm clothesline by Cage in the ring, and then he gorilla presses Darby. Like he has him in the gorilla press, and he throws him out of the ring through the timekeeper's table.
I was not expecting that, especially so early in the match. I thought he was just gonna like gorilla press and drop him maybe, and he just threw him like over the ropes 8 feet through a table. It was crazy.
Yeah, it looked pretty awesome.
It was good. Nice spot.
Yep. Oh, I clicked on the wrong tab. Cage deadlifts Darby in the suplex position. He is bleeding now. Right?
Yes, he is.
Because I assume he hit him off some part of the table.
I think he bladed, but that's just me.
One or the other.
Yep.
He like deadlifts him into the suplex position, then just carries him up to the stage and dumps him
Yeah.
in the ring.
Yeah,
Which I thought was kind of cool visual.
it was.
Corner uppercut Domagiri combo followed by a German suplex by Cage.
Really nice
Heel
combo.
throw into the turnbuckles by Cage, and then he does it again. Ground and pound strikes by Cage. F5 post-commercial break by
Big
Cage
F5.
for a 1 count, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Repeated powerbombs by Cage, kind of like Brock Lesnar used to
Yes.
do. And then Darby flips off Cage. Cage does a release powerbomb onto the stage. I was worried he would go too far, and then Darby would hit his head off the stairs.
It was close, right? And he's so strong and Darby's so light that's definitely a possibility.
Right, yeah. I was worried there. I was like,
But
eh.
4 power bombs and the last one is a release onto the stage. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Darby just takes a beating in this
He
match.
does.
Superplex into the ring by Cage for 1 off of like the ropes, which I thought was impressive.
Yep.
And so another 1 count. That's quite interesting.
And this is where Tony, I thought, had a beautiful line where he just said Darby is defiant. And I think that's exactly the right way to sum it up. Like he's just taking this beating and refusing to give in.
Cage pulls steel stairs to ringside. Darby counters a move and then bites Cage's fingers, and Cage falls back onto the stairs, and then a coffin drop on the steel stairs, which
Yes.
looked pretty cool. He
No
just
way
kind of
that didn't
like
hurt.
he kind of like rolled off afterwards. It just like looked like he landed hard and he just kind of fell off, which
Yep.
I thought not that it looked bad, just looked cool.
Yeah, it looked good.
And then Cage barely gets back in for the countout. Darby uses his belt to trap Cage's legs, which is kind of cool, but like
Too far for me.
it should have been a DQ. Yeah.
This is the spot I didn't
Cage
like.
escapes. Code red by Darby for 2. Shotgun dropkick into the corner for 2 by Darby. Cage powers to the pin, and Darby lands on the ropes and then hits a double foot stomp. Hook distracts ref as Darby's on the top rope, and Starks attacks. Sting attacks Starks with bat. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Knee strike by Cage, and then top rope crucifix bomb by Darby for the win. Darby Allin retains the TNT title.
Yeah. I loved almost all of this match.
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought Cage looked amazing, and Darby sells like almost nobody else can at this point. And Darby was just defiant, right? And I liked the story of this match was that he was going to just take significant punishment because it's the only chance he has, and wait for Cage to get frustrated and make a mistake because he can't match him for power. And it's not like Cage is a big slow guy either. He can work like a cruiserweight basically. So Darby's only hope, I think, was just to take punishment until this guy makes a mistake and try to capitalize. And I love that story, and I think these are two of the best guys to probably tell that story. The belt around the ankles bit was too much for me. That's a DQ, even in AEW. Throwing people into objects that are already there is different. You're not introducing any foreign object. You're just dropping somebody
You're
on
using
something
your
that's
surroundings.
there. So for me, that is a little bit kind of nitpicking, but it's a little bit different. The inevitable Sting interference added nothing for me, but all in all, a really good match with an outcome that I agree with. I've said it before, Darby's a special talent. I don't see him needing this relationship with Sting. I'm not sure what he's going to get out of it.
I think this can only hinder him. He's on a roll right
He is.
now.
I really enjoyed the vast majority of this match. It was basically the story of a machine dishing out constant punishment and a small kid that just takes a beating and waits for his chance to sneak out a win. I thought it was a really fun match and a cool main event. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I wrote all caps. Why Sting? Be gone, please. I just dropped my phone. Sorry.
Of course.
Match was good, and Cage looked like a monster. Darby took a beating, and props to him for doing some cool stuff.
For sure.
And the finish was cool. It's a creative pin. Like, it was a pin that would actually work because you're trapping both the arms, and there was also some impact to it, right?
Yeah, I like the crucifix bomb.
Yeah. And the show overall was pretty good. I enjoyed last week better, but this one was still good. Highlights were definitely this match, the opener, Britt Baker segment, and the Inner Circle. And then the aftermath of the Bullet Club match was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
B+, I would say not as good as last week, but still really good.
I love the opener in the main event and was quite entertained by Britt Baker's waiting room segment and the Inner Circle segment. I liked the recap packages they used this week. I thought were really well done and were actually really helpful for me personally. Solid women's match. The FTR match was probably it was decent too. The Omega Good Brothers match annoyed me a bit in its competitiveness, but it wasn't bad. So I, like you, gave this show a B+, and as I was reading through and sort of polishing my notes before we started recording the first time, I was contemplating bumping it up to an A-, but I didn't quite. I kept it at a B+ like you did. Still a very entertaining show and worth watching, I thought.
Yeah.
All right. So that wraps up our Dynamite review, which leads us into next segment, which is always our trivia section, which is Jack showing us his knowledge of all things wrestling in off the top of his head.
Yes, I am big brain.
So, this week, for no reason other than I had just finished watching Impact and I decided I needed to start figuring out what I was going to do for this segment.
Figuring it out, that's a difference.
Sorry. Yeah, right. It is going to be Greatest TNA Wrestlers. And this is from IMDb, which we talked about before, is an Internet Movie Database is what it stands for. So they're considering TNA like a TV show, and they consider all of their wrestlers actors, which I thought was kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do
That's disrespectful.
is I'm going to read their top 15, starting from number 1, going down to 15. They're, in their opinion, the top 15 wrestlers in TNA history. So I think there's some noticeable omissions. I was telling you there's no Abyss in this list, which I think he should be. There's no Christopher Daniels in this list, which I think there should be. So there's 2 guesses you can eliminate. So I'm going to read a chunk of the IMDb bio, And because you're Dr. Interrupter, I've worked this into your style. So you can give me the name as soon as you know. And then I'll just
Yeah.
finish reading the rest of the description. Since you won't stop interrupting me anyways, I'll just incorporate
Hey,
it
if I know it,
into the game.
I know it.
I know, but our poor listeners want to hear all of the clues, I think. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they don't care.
Yeah, true.
So some of the bios are limited, so this could be interesting, or don't contain a ton of wrestling stuff. So we'll see where we go. You ready? And this cue the time when the computer shuts off and I fly into a rage. This
Okay.
is right where it died last time.
Yep.
And honestly, I think we're only like 2 minutes behind.
We're like pressing our luck right now.
It's basically this. So let's do it. All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, number 1. So they're saying the greatest TNA wrestler of all time. So that should help narrow it down for you, okay?
AJ Styles.
No, can I start reading? You're interrupting before I've even started. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States of America, he won an Olympic gold medal in 1996, having notoriously won it
Angle.
with a broken neck. Kurt Angle is
That
correct.
was not even
In
difficult.
1998, he transitioned into professional wrestling, where he skyrocketed to success after joining the World Wrestling Federation. He later became the first ever wrestler to hold the WCW and WWF championships during the same calendar year. He also became the second ever TNA Triple Crown champion in the promotion's history and is an overall 13-time world champion. So yes, it was Kurt Angle. You got that early. All right. Number 2. Born on June 7th, 1965 in Long Island, New York. Nicknamed by his father a lifelong Yankees and Mickey Mantle fan, he attended college in upstate New York. He hitchhiked to New York City to see a wrestling match between Jimmy Snuka and Don Morocco that convinced him he wanted to be a professional wrestler. You've never heard that story?
No.
So think about it. Lifelong Yankees fan and Mickey Mantle. Nicknamed by his father.
Mick Foley?
Correct.
Really?
You've
He's
never
one
heard
of
the story?
greatest?
He
No.
watched Snuka jump from the top of the cage, and that's when he decided he was going to be a
No.
wrestler. That's like a super famous story.
He's one of the greatest, really?
Yes, I'm telling you, this is a list put out by them, not me.
That I know. I'm just saying that's weird because he was like old.
Right.
He was kind of old when he.
Right, and to put him ahead of AJ Styles and stuff?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But
Even
anyways,
like Sting was like not as old and actually had good matches.
AJ
there.
Styles doesn't come for a while, believe it or not.
That's weird.
All right, number 3.
Well, because maybe he's not a great actor.
Born on August 31st, 1977. Hey-oh, same year as me. In Cameron, North Carolina.
Jeff Hardy.
Yes, correct. He is known
You're
for his...
older than Jeffrey Hardy.
Yes, I am. He is known for his work on WWE SmackDown, WWE No Way Out, and TNA Impact Wrestling.
How is someone known for their work at a pay-per-view?
This is their bios. I told you they'd be interesting.
I mean, like, I would say, like, maybe if he competed at a lot of notable matches, but, like, other than an Elimination Chamber match, I honestly don't know what he would have competed in that would be considered that he would, like, could be known for.
He has been married to Beth Britt since March 9th, 2011.
I don't even know who that is.
They have 2 children. All right, number 4.
Cool.
He was trained by the original Sheik, Ed Farhat, and was one of wrestling's classic greatest bad guys. Even though their styles are quite different, Sheik being a wild, hardcore style brawler known for throwing fire, whereas this wrestler is a technical high flyer.
Sabu?
Nope. Farhat taught him the importance of the right mindset, and that is your only clue.
Rob Van Dam?
Yes.
Nice.
Wow. Good job.
I just figured, like, extreme, high flyer.
Yep.
Technical.
You
Rob
got
Van
it.
Dam.
That was the only part of that clue that I thought would be useful to you.
Yep.
Number 5. Held the WCW World Title 10 times and multiple other titles. He has been the only wrestler to stay in WCW since the late 1980s, and he had reconstructive knee surgery in 1991. He
Ric
is
Flair?
also... Sorry?
Ric Flair?
No.
Sting.
Yes. He is also the only wrestler from WCW who never worked for WWE until 2014 when he made his debut at Survivor Series. All right, number 6. Debuted in 1998 and competed for various independent promotions before gaining his first mainstream exposure in World Championship Wrestling in 2001.
AJ Styles.
Correct.
He was in WCW for like 5 months.
That's right. He
Until
became
close.
widely known for his tenure in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling from 2002
When you say it out loud like that, it sounds really stupid.
to 2002 to 2013, where he was dubbed Mr. TNA, etc., etc. Lots of credentials.
Oh, was he?
Number 7.
Uh-huh.
Born on January 1st, 1977. Hey, another one in my year. in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, where your mother grew up.
Bobby Roode?
Yes, I was going to say, have you heard, we've talked about this before,
Yeah,
where we wonder if they've ever crossed paths or met because they're basically the same age and lived in the same small town, right?
Well, he's like a year older than Mom.
It says he is an well, yeah, it's close enough, like my age.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
He is an actor known for TNA Impact Wrestling 2004, TNA Genesis 2009.
When you say like he's an actor for Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling, that's just like that's how you make it sound like the stupidest as possible.
And one of Bobby Roode's other credentials here, One Night Only GFW Amped Anthology 2007.
I don't even know what that means.
He has been married to Tracy since 1995. They have 3 children.
How is that even like who cares?
It's because it's not a wrestling site that did this, right? So this is why
true.
I thought it might be interesting.
He is known for
having children,
competing on,
being married.
He's known for competing on TNA Impact and TNA Genesis.
Right. Number 8, all-timer. Born on June 1st, 1975 in Franklin, Tennessee, USA as James Black. He is known for his work on TNA Impact 2004, Hotel Underground, and here's your only other slight clue, WWE NXT 2010 for a cup of coffee.
EC3.
Nope. Who was number 7 was Bobby Roode. Think that.
EC3.
Nope. I'll say no again if you ask again. Tag team partner of James
Storm?
Yes, correct.
You almost said it. Was he known for competing at Slammiversary?
No. All right, number 9. Born on March 17th, 1979 in Orange County, California. He is an actor known for ROH Final Battle 2003, ROH World Champion, The Best of 2004, and WWE NXT 2010. He has been married to Jessica Sinoa.
You said Chris Daniels isn't on this, right?
Who?
Chris Daniels is not.
Since 2007, held the Ring of Honor World Championship for nearly 2 years, the longest reigning modern champion.
CM Punk.
Nope. NXT 2010, ROH champion.
Daniel Bryan.
No. NXT 2010.
Yeah, that was Daniel Bryan.
No. Well, I think maybe they got the year wrong then, because it's Samoa Joe. I'm tired of this.
What? When was he on NXT?
What do you mean, when was he on NXT?
Like in 2010?
Yeah, that I don't know. I think they got the year wrong.
That was not fair.
Number 10. Born July 14th, 1971, an American professional wrestler best known for his career in such famous professional wrestling companies as WWE, ECW, and TNA.
Sabu.
Nope. Multiple-time tag team champion, winning the ECW tag titles 8 times. Jumped to WWE/F. Went on to win the WCW tag team titles once.
Bully Ray.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, whatever you want to call
Brother
him. Brother Ray. Number 11.
Boo Boo Ray.
This one, he got sort of an interesting little blurb here. Few antagonists. It's like a movie preview. Few antagonists in the history of sports entertainment have stirred as much controversy in the squared circle as this man from the Bowery.
Oh my god, that sounds awful.
The grungy sociopath terrorized opponents and fans alike in major...
Raven?
Yes, Raven.
Nice.
He had the brains to become one of the ring's most influential leaders. He became a villainous idol in Philadelphia.
I just figured ECW. Grunge. I just thought of Raven. I was going to say Sting, but I was like, he's more like goth, right? So
check out this description.
Is this still for Raven or someone else?
Yeah, for Raven. Okay. He became a villainous idol by employing a mesmerizing blend of indomitable demeanor and glib prose.
What does glib mean?
Like just kind of short and to the point, I guess. That's funny.
That confuses me greatly.
All right, number 12. A few left here. Was born on March 6th, 1976 in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. He is known for Behind the Enemy Lines, 2009, WWE SmackDown, 1999, and TNA Impact Wrestling, 2004.
So another person known for a pay-per-view?
He has been married to Sean Trebnick.
What?
Since January 9th, 2008. Finishing move, this is your only hope, because I dug a little deeper to give you something you might know. Finishing move, the mic check.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
There you go.
How is someone known for a pay-per-view other than Undertaker and
Again,
WrestleMania?
non-wrestling people doing this research and going, oh yeah, he was on SmackDown. Throw that in there.
Jeff Hardy competed at No Way Out once. He's
Yep.
known for that.
All right, number 13. We got 3 more.
Okay.
I even put this guy's name in. The rest of them I always eliminated, but this one won't help you very much. So Daniel Solwold was born on April 15th, 1978 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He is known for his work on The Wrestler 2008, WWE SmackDown 1999, and TNA Impact Wrestling 2004.
It sounds like they're saying like WWE SmackDown 1999 like is a pay-per-view.
I know. So I'll give you a hint or a video game. On December 26, 2004, he defeated Samoa Joe in Philadelphia to win the ROH title. And another clue, since this is a hard one, you really like this wrestler, and we've seen him live. Small guy.
Kip Sabian.
Nope. Ring of Honor title.
CM Punk.
No. We've seen him live.
Austin
Just
Aries.
ignore my clues. Correct. Austin Aries is correct.
I like Austin Aries. Oh
Don't
yeah,
you?
I do.
You do like
Austin
Austin Aries. You always talk about Austin
I
Aries.
forgot.
Born
I haven't talked about him in a while.
number 14. Born on February 4th, 1982 in Detroit, Michigan. Known for
Sting.
his work on TNA Impact Wrestling, the agency Pursuit of the Aries Virus, and TNA Impact. Notable title wins: MXPW Cruiserweight and Television,
Cruiserweight. Okay.
XICW Tag Team, GAPW Junior, Border City Television, NWA TNA X Division, NW2 TNA Super Cup, IWC Super Indie title, BWCW Cruiserweight, ULZR pole
AJ
match.
Styles.
No, and NWA Florida Baracus Memorial Cup winner.
Jay Lethal.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. He is currently employed by Impact Wrestling.
Suicide.
No.
TJP.
He has recently got a new partner for a pay-per-view.
Mark Briscoe.
No.
That's
That's
Ring of Honor.
ROH, man.
Alex Shelley. Chris Sabin.
Correct. Chris Sabin. Took you a while to get there. Yes, Chris Sabin. I would suggest he's one of the not so great champions of that company, actually. But anyways,
Was he good in the X Division? I heard he didn't have a great world title run.
that's
but
what I meant. Sorry, the world title. X
Yeah.
Division, totally fine. So number 15, ready? 15th greatest wrestler in TNA according to a non-wrestling
Sting.
thing. Nope. Was
What? How is Sting not in it?
I
That's
know.
weird.
was trained in the USWA, which was run by his father. He wrestled for his father's promotion throughout the 1980s.
Jeff Jarrett.
Correct.
Mm.
Before hitting the big time in the early 90s, he had his first major run in WWF, winning the Intercontinental title 6 times before joining WCW. Blah blah blah. Won the championship there.
Blah 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 stuff.
Childhood dream, etc. etc.
I
All right.
just knew like father's promotion. I thought like he and his father started TNA, right? And
Yes.
GFW. So I just like I don't know. I just figured that. I know that's not what he wrestled for, but I just like that kind of triggered it.
Well, I don't think that was our best off the top of the head, but it had some funny moments in there.
Yeah.
It was
I
enjoyable.
mostly blame them for giving me the weirdest descriptions of all time.
And I thought that was going to be part of the funny part, was that
It
it's
was
not
kind
a
of
lot
funny.
of wrestling stuff. It's like star of this pay-per-view.
Right, like, because that makes
That's
sense and is
helpful.
important.
Yes. So anyways, that brings us to the end of our off the top of his head segment, and we will transfer.
Did you say Heg?
Who knows what I said? It's the second time I'm saying everything. Actually, not this part. We didn't get this far,
Nope,
but
this is fresh, people.
so that will transition us into our next in-depth review of the Wednesday Night Wars,
Which is
and that will
you.
be looking at our NXT review. Entrance, and we're gonna get Shotzi Blackheart versus
yes.
Candice LeRae as the opener this week.
Yeah, like, honestly, after doing the worst of, I keep thinking of that Io Shirai match. If she couldn't have a good match with Io Shirai, I fear for Candice here.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out our worst of match, go find it because it was a
Or
fun
worst
one.
of awards.
So
it was fun.
Shotzi takes control early and hits a crossbody off the ropes for 2. Shotzi then works Candice LeRae's arm until Candice reaches the ropes. LeRae is yanked off the ropes and the back of her head hits the turnbuckle, and then we get a submission countered by LeRae for a 2 count. There's a battle on the apron, and LeRae ends up on the steel steps, and then as she gets up and sort of walks away, Shotzi hits a jumping knee from the apron. Indy gets involved, and LeRae takes advantage to gain control on the outside. We go to break as Candice rolls back into the ring. Insecurity by 2 by Shotzi after the, 4-2 by Shotzi after the break. Kick and a running senton to LeRae on the ropes. Drop down DDT by Shotzi sort of on the apron. Suicide dive by Shotzi to Candice and Indy both, and she rolls Candice in for a 2 count. Shotzi hits the turnbuckles head first as Candice moves, then hits a super kick to Shotzi for a 2 count. Gargano escape applied by Larea. Shotzi counters it, then powers out with a swinging face buster on her knee, which I didn't know how to explain it other than that. I kind of liked it. You thought the impact didn't look good.
Oh, yeah. I now remember. It didn't look too great.
And then a high knee in the corner, followed by a DDT. Shotzi goes up top, and Indy momentarily distracts her long enough for Candice to hop up and hit a nice top rope swinging neck breaker, which was surprisingly for me is what got her the pin and the win right there.
It did look really good, though.
It did. So I just wasn't expecting the pinfall after it, right?
No, I was kind of expecting it just because it was a super move, and it did look pretty good. And I honestly wouldn't even mind that's just like an alternate finisher for Candice LeRae. Yeah,
it might be awkward to set up sometimes, depending, but what did you think?
I think just that's what I mean. It's like an alternate finisher where like she uses it when
it's convenient.
Yeah.
What did you think of the match?
Well, what I wrote here was, why would anyone think Shotzi Blackheart is a good choice for an opener? Kind of what I said with, I don't care if it's Candice LeRae because Shotzi can have a good match with Io, but it was like not great, but I really liked the finish. The finishing move I thought was really nice.
And the fact that it was a bit of a surprise, right? Because I'm like, okay, what is she going to transition into the Gargano escape, or it's just a near fall and we're going to continue, and it was over. So I like being surprised. I thought it was a decent match, not great. Shotzi controlled the vast majority, really, and some of that was good and some of it wasn't. There wasn't anything glaringly wrong, like a tiny bit of sloppiness, but that's pretty much standard for her. Nothing where I thought she was going to hurt herself or anyone else, so that was good. The neckbreaker did look cool. I'm happy with the result as Candice wins with just some minor interference from Indy, right? It was not quite a clean win, but there wasn't a ton of interference happening. Mm-hmm. So an okay opener. Definitely did not compare to AEW's opener.
Yeah,
right? You got Shotzi on one show and Pac on the other show. I wonder which opener you preferred.
Yeah.
Then we get Finn Balor is just walking backstage. And then a quick cut to the brand, obviously minus Pat McAfee, arriving in their vehicle as they get out to sort of walk into the building. It's just Dunn and the tag team at this point. Mm-hmm. And then we get Balor. He's in the ring and he's going to speak to us. He says that he's still the NXT champion, which was nice information to have, right? Because hadn't you forgotten who was NXT champ? Just kidding. He says that Kyle is great, but not on his level. He got put down and now he can eat his meals through a straw, sort of referring to the jaw injury that O'Reilly has quote unquote suffered.
And it's like kind of
payback, right?
Right.
Yeah. Finn knows he is the target, and whoever wants him next needs to know that they don't make the cloth that he's cut from. And Pete Dunne interrupts, and we're both like, yes, please.
Pete
right?
Dunne. I already knew this was going to happen because I did see it, but like I'm still happy. I wanted this match at New Year's Evil, but I mean...
I'll take it anytime.
Yep, I agree.
Dunne speaks as he slowly advances toward the ring. He's been watching his whole career and knew he'd end up facing Balor. Balor is the poster boy for UK wrestling, but only because Dunne hasn't taken that title off of him yet, which I kind of like. They kept it short and sweet, right, with Dunne, which I thought was a good move. Balor takes out Lorcan and Birch, but Numbers Game eventually catches up to him, and they beat Balor down until O'Reilly comes out to aid of Balor.
Yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, he said January 13th, and he was like, January 13.
Oh, yeah, his accent was on full display. It was awesome. Then the rest of Undisputed Era join, and the heels retreat as the Balor and Undisputed Era sort of eye each other suspiciously until Balor sort of slides out of the ring and leaves. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a simple, solid segment that sets up a match I really want to see in Dunne and Balor, and pays off the brief interaction. Remember when Dunne and Balor crossed backstage, and we couldn't hear what...
I think even Pete Dunne mentioned it, right?
We couldn't hear what Dunne said, but we heard Balor say, "Get in line." Yeah, so Dunne referred to, like, he's the front of the line now,
like,
right?
I'm done waiting.
So the Undisputed Era involvement didn't do much for me, as I find them stale as a group right now, but I am excited.
I hate to admit it, but...
They are, right?
Yeah.
No denying. And I thought Dunne's brief little talking was good. They gave him just enough. He doesn't need to say a lot, but I thought what he said was okay. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought Balor's promo was kind of it was all right, and his accent was kind of funny, not gonna lie.
It was cool. I love it.
Yeah, and Pete Dunne, he did good. Like, he's not even a bad talker. It's just like he's cooler when he's silent.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. I don't think that he's a great talker, but I don't think he's bad. I just think that his character is like, you don't say much, right? You don't need to say much. That's his character, and I like it.
Yeah.
So then we get Gargano is talks about Shotzi, getting what she deserved against Candice, and that he and Candice will each win the Dusty Cup. So Theory interrupts with an envelope for Johnny from Loomis. Johnny takes out drawings of him crying first, and then one of Theory getting shot by Shotzi's tank. And Theory, they're upset, right? And Theory says that Johnny will kick Loomis's butt tonight. Thoughts? Before I give mine.
I think his drawings are cool, but other than that, this did not do much for me.
I thought Johnny's performance is fine as always, but the fact that, like, at the end of the day, this is two grown men who are basically professional athletes getting
over
so upset about caricatures being drawn of them, and it seems ridiculous to me. And I know we say this phrase a lot. It feels main roster, right? Which is our code for bad on this podcast, right? But that's what it felt like to me, right? Like,
well, not only bad, but like stale.
You drew insulting pictures of us. We're so mad now. We got to fight you. Like, you're grown-ups and you're professional athletes. And the dude drew a couple funny pictures. I'd be like, wow, this is really cool. I'm going to put this on my fridge, right? It wouldn't make me want to fight somebody, but anyway.
I mean, maybe if it's super insulting, but like...
It really wasn't. It was just
like
Johnny crying
insulting.
and... Yeah, anyways.
It was just like kind of insulting.
It was fine. So then Jake Atlas and Swerve Scott, we're told, will face a mystery MSK team later tonight. I wonder who it could be. Yeah, we did cover it. So then we get our first match in the Dusty Cup, and it's round 1 match between the Grizzled Young Veterans and everyone's favorite tag team, Everrise.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that FNS we disagree about is Everrise.
I don't like totally hate them. I just don't.
I think my description was pretty good.
Well, yeah, they're your Kip Sabian.
I said that you basically have to think of them as a tag team exhibiting the Young Bucks like cocky sort of heel attitude, except they're not successful about it, and I find that entertaining somehow. Anyways, Grizzled Young Veterans come out, and Gibson says they debuted in this tournament last year, but this year they're going to win it. He apologizes to anyone hoping for an upset tonight, and they are soon going to be the NXT Tag Champions. He's a great promo. I thought this was fine. It added a little bit to this. I'm up for hearing him speak almost any time. Regal officially starts the tournament with an odd kind of brief video.
Yeah, it's like, let the tournament begin. And it's like, it was just about to before you interrupted.
It would have begun sooner, in fact, if you just hadn't done this. But anyways. Gibson gets his back slapped when there is no clean break, and then he tags out. Blake's in with a headlock and a cool sort of hip toss into his knee.
Drake?
Sorry?
Do you mean Drake? You
said
Blake.
What did I say? Oh, yeah. I think I might have... I have Blake the whole time in my notes. Literally.
Okay, good thing I said that then.
Well, yeah, you might have to correct me a few more times. Wow, what was I doing? Like, I'm just looking down now.
When you said Blake, I was just kind of thinking,
Drake,
Wesley Blake.
Drake. Oh, no, I got a Drake in here, but then there's like 7 more Blakes, so bear with me. So Drake in with a headlock and a cool hip toss knee combo move. Yeah. Everrise take control as Drake is kicked out of the ring.
You gotta say it with emphasis to make sure that you don't mess it up.
Or I'll go back and like dub over it in a really voice that doesn't match, so it'll be like double team by Drake.
It'll be like this will be a really obscure reference.
I know where you're going.
But, middle.
I was just gonna say, let me guess the middle.
So this is gonna go off track, but I do want to explain this for people.
I'll get drink some coffee.
So we watched this show called The Middle, or we did, and if it's on TV, we usually record episodes. Anyways, it's like set in the late 2000s, like 09-ish, and it's about this family just like very low.
They're like the middle class, America, the middle class,
just
middle
trying to
Americans.
Get by, and so the youngest son, there's 3 kids. Axel's the oldest. Sue's the middle child, and Brick is the youngest. He's kind of like that quirky
lot of details.
Little child. Anyways, so he does like he wants his parents to sign something for like the pep rally, and like they just kind of like ignore him. So he does it anyways, and he dresses as a book.
Because he's like not a very popular child, and he loves reading. So
so he's promoting the library, and I'm sure everyone knows the song. It's like everybody
CNC Music Factory, buddy.
Yeah, and so it's like everybody read now. Yeah, yes. It's like he just dubs over it.
And he's awkwardly dancing in a big bookmark costume.
Yeah,
it's
funny.
Yep. So that's what I'll do.
Similar to that.
That's what I'll do for Drake over Blake. I'll go back in post production and fix it. So double team moves by the Grizzled Young Veterans to take out both Everrise, and Drake continues to beat down Parker. Oh my god. I have a bulldog by Drake, and he punches Parker out to the floor where he takes a backbreaker with Drake slingshotting out to the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Gibson slams Parker and goes for a single leg crab. Parker gets free but gets stomped and sent into the Grizzled Young Veterans corner. Then we get Drake in with a spinning heel kick and Gibson back in. Parker fights out of the corner and gets caught crawling back for the tag. Parker drags Drake and makes the tag to Martel, who dominates both of the young veterans with chops and strikes. We get
Dominates? How dare you?
Right? Everrise, man, they're the best. We get an overhead belly-to-belly by Martel, followed by a clothesline and a quick tag. Double team, flapjack spear to Drake. Broken up by Gibson.
Drake.
It was kind of awkward. It wasn't the cleanest thing I've ever seen, but that's okay. Gibson draws the attention of Martel, and Drake hits a running drop kick to the back of Martel. We get then immediately followed up by the ticket to Mayhem to Martel and for the win, and the Grizzled Young Veterans advance.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It was actually a decent match. Like, Everrise did decent.
Yeah.
The right outcome, though.
Yes.
Obviously.
I enjoyed it, even though it was strange to see Everrise not really working heel, right? Because it was kind of like the Grizzled Young Veterans are heels and are more prominent roles, so you guys sort of back up your heel tactics a little bit, which is odd because that is what Everrise is all about. I thought it was a well-worked tag match.
I think that's like one of the things that they excel at, right? So.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. I thought the right team advanced, but Everrise looked good in the loss, I thought. So it was an okay
they
match.
actually did look better than usual.
So then we get a Gonzalez and Ripley match. I thought it was just a match recap, but it's actually fresh information as Gonzalez is sort of speaking over top of highlights of her like NXT run kind of thing, it turns out. So Gonzalez says that Ripley was like 2020, a bad memory that we're all trying to forget, which I thought was kind of funny. She's looking at the title and she's looking at Io and what she did last week. They all know, after what she did last week, they all know who the baddest woman in NXT is. I was surprised at how good this, like, she's super comfortable.
I'm surprised they didn't call that match the Battle of the Badasses.
Right? I thought she was great here. She's comfortable and believable speaking, and her facial expressions were really subtle but really good. She impresses me across the board. Like, I don't know what this woman can't do in the world of wrestling.
A 450 splash.
I did not expect her to be such a good promo. I think she's the total package, and it's a shame that she'll be gone and wasted probably within the next year to 18 months on the main roster. But in the meantime, I will enjoy watching her. She is fantastic.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I agreed. It was really good.
Yeah. All right, Shotzi's then interviewed backstage, and she's disappointed in her loss to Candice, but her eyes are on the Dusty Cup, and she wants revenge of LeRae and Blackheart. And
so just to be clear, she extracted her eyes and glued them to the Dusty Cup.
So she's going to seek revenge by finding a tag team partner to enter the Dusty Cup to take out LeRae and Blackheart.
Take that, Candice. I have a tag
But
partner.
she needs a partner who she can trust, so I wonder who that could be. And Ember Moon
Tony
comes out.
Storm.
Ember Moon comes out, and
kidding.
she's going to be Shotzi's partner, and she will, and this will invoke Ember's Law and put their names on the trophy.
I don't even know what that means. It's not like her name's Murphy.
Remember when she came back, and I still remember because her promos are so bad. Clearly, she was told to do this Ember's Law thing, and even she pointed out, like, in the first time she mentioned it, like, something like, I know it sounds cheesy. Like, she basically pointed out, my new thing is stupid, and I know it's stupid, which is unfortunate. So I thought it was fine. Ember wasn't as bad as usual, but that Ember's Law thing needs to go. That was actually
these two cutting a promo together is beyond awful, so I did not like this.
Ember wasn't quite as bad as usual. So maybe
No, but she's not going to exactly get better working with Shotzi Blackheart.
I mean, I assume she heard our Worst Of podcast and realizes she needs to improve, right? She's probably one of the listeners, I would guess.
No,
we're big in the backstage. They just put our show on a speaker backstage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get another one of Jack's favorites, Dexter Loomis versus Johnny Gargano. So Johnny starts out by ripping the picture that Loomis had made of him and takes control with the Thez press and some strikes. We go out to the floor and a back elbow by Loomis and a kick by Gargano. Big punch to Gargano on the apron and he flies back into the ring. Loomis he's up top too, and Gargano joins him. They battle on the top rope until Gargano's knocked off with some headbutts. Loomis misses his senton as we go into the commercial. We come back from commercial and Gargano has Loomis on the mat, elbow drop and knees to Loomis's back. Repeated forearms to Loomis until a back elbow by Dexter and an eventual spine buster, which always looks pretty good. Not that it's a complicated move, but he delivers it well.
he is one of those people who does it good, as does, I think it was 10 who did a good one as well.
It's January 16th, 2021, and Jackson has said something good about Dexter Loomis. Put that on
I take it back. I take it back.
Right hands by Loomis, a corner clothesline and a bulldog. Slingshot suplex by Loomis, followed by a belly to back and a kip up leaping leg drop for 2. A nice sequence. Again, this guy, he saves that athleticism, right, to sort of spring it on you in the middle of his matches sometimes.
He
I
did
think
get a
it's
good
pretty
jump.
cool. He did.
I'll admit.
Um,
Oh
a
no,
si-
I did it again.
a silence is applied and escaped by Gargano. Kick to the side of Loomis's head that looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'd just like to say one thing. It's weird how they call it like silence. It's like, I think Bear was saying something, and then Victor was like silence. It
sounds like he's telling him to be quiet.
Yeah, it sounds like he's telling Bear to shut up.
Which it should be the other way around, in my opinion.
But I just think it should be called the silencer. I think it would sound cooler. Although I feel like that's taken. I don't know
silence?
why.
I don't know. Like
Code of silence is Carmella.
I feel silent. Oh, that's right. That's why.
Silencer?
Silence is. I agree. Is too. Silencer would work for me.
Yeah, but
the silencer.
I feel like that's taken. I don't know why, and I
Maybe.
can't think of an example where it would be taken. But
so a cool head kick that they replayed a couple times, and then several reversals and counters. We get a kneeling strike exchange, then up to their feet. Theory grabs Loomis's foot, and Gargano lands a kick and sets up for the one final beat, but ends up taking an uppercut instead. Another attempt for the final beat is countered into silence, and Theory now gets up on the apron. He gets the silence applied to him, and then that's all Gargano needs to roll up Loomis. And as Loomis throws Theory, so it's kind of, he rolls Loomis, and in the act of Loomis being rolled up... He kind of hits
an exploder suplex on Theory kind of move.
Yeah, suplexes Theory, but ends up that Loomis takes the 3 count with this roll up and a win for Johnny Gargano. Silence is applied to Theory after the match, but then we get numbers game. Obviously takes over until Kushida shows up to help and puts the hoverboard lock on Gargano as Loomis puts the silence on Theory. Kushida grabs the belt and indicates that it's his time by tapping his wrist at his imaginary watch before giving Johnny the belt back.
I don't want that to
happen
ever.
Talk about it.
It was actually a decent match. It was better than the Shotzi thing.
Yep.
But not a high bar there.
Fair.
And the aftermatch just felt like really just like, oh, they're gonna face off next week. We need a last minute kind of setup.
Agreed. No real build
to go with the last minute match last week. So I don't know. The aftermath just really didn't do much for me, but.
Agree. I thought this was a good match. I've gotten used to Loomis's style now, and Johnny is always good. Loomis seems to be improving, and he's this interesting mix of like slow plodding offense with athletic and explosive moves mixed in.
Yeah, just like kind of like a Wardlow, where like there's just the occasional athleticism.
And I think this matches Loomis's personality, right? He's supposed to be always calm and in control until he like gets mad the odd time or whatever. So I think it kind of fits him. I also am not thrilled about Kushida being next because, again, this is just like they drew a name out of the hat backstage and, Kushida, you don't have anything going on, you're next. So there's really no build for it.
Other than, like, Kushida stepping in to be his partner, Ruff's partner randomly that one time.
And I guess they can work on it going forward, but at this point I'm not that interested. Kushida just doesn't do much for us, as you know. Did he win our worst NXT Wrestler of the Year for both of us, right?
Yep. Yeah, he sucks.
Okay. So then... The tag champs are asked about what happened with the Undisputed Era earlier on, and they say that the Undisputed Era don't run the place. They do, and Undisputed Era needs to keep their noses out of their business. Dunn then quickly says that O'Reilly just put himself in the way of the title, and he will get taken out as well. Just a really quick, I didn't have many thoughts on that. It was just a quick, short little promo by them again.
Yeah, nothing much. Standard, but not bad.
Yep. Then Wade Barrett talks to Thatcher and Ciampa about Fight Pit as they sit across the table from each other, sort of like at a boardroom table sort of thing.
O'Reilly and Balor had a similar thing.
Yeah, that's right. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa had a sit-down interview with Wade Barrett about Fight Pit next week. Thatcher says he's cleared now. Ciampa's ready for next week, but Thatcher questions how he could be if he's never been in the pit before. Ciampa says he will take liberties with Thatcher, but Thatcher says he's a different animal in the pit, and he feels Ciampa is trying to see if he still has it. There was one line in here I liked about the lion and the zebra. What does he say? The zebra doesn't ask why the lion's attacking him, or something like that. Anyways, I didn't get it exactly, but I liked it. Both guys were really intense. I'm interested to see this match next week, so I guess this was effective. It didn't hurt the build for the match at all, and I know you're looking forward to it, so what did you think of this?
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the Fight Pit just because I didn't really get to see the first one.
And we're like Thatcher's biggest fans, apparently. Even though we just kind of like him, it seems like nobody else does.
That's weird.
I know.
But, I
think he's cool.
Yeah, and I think these guys are both talented. They will make this work, I think. And I thought this was actually pretty good. There was some nice back and forth here, and I think it after we were supposed to get last week, and it's kind of weird they just decided to postpone it. This was a pretty good way to build to the match.
Yeah, I think they'll put on a good match. Is it going to be cinematic? Do you know? Probably.
I don't think so.
Or just recorded and then put on, probably.
I don't know, cause like the other one was just like
It wasn't really produced. It was just a match, right?
it was probably just recorded separate, cause you have to get the whole cage.
Exactly.
And, like,
Just because it's in a different location, not because they're adding or probably
the
doing
other one
things.
was even just in Full Sail, so I think it'll just be in the normal like spot. I don't hope it'll be a cinema match, so I think it'll just be normal.
Me too. All right, so Undisputed Era are back, and they get interviewed, and a lot of them, and I don't find them interesting. So it's
Their interviews and stuff are like
just
too
so
formulaic now.
just
It's just
generic.
It's like, I swear, I could literally cover this promo. It's like, interviewer asks question, Cole responds, and he's like, ain't that right, Roddy? And then Roddy's like, you are so right. And then, like, he says something.
It's funny because my recap of this, right?
Literally what this was.
I have Undisputed Era get interviewed and say they'll advance in the Dusty Cup, and Kyle will have their back out there tonight in case the Brands show up. And then I put,
I swear, this is what happens every time now.
they take turns speaking and are nothing special and a far cry from having interesting things to say as
Cole
they have
used
in the
to
past.
have like some of the best promos
he's
in
amazing.
NXT, and now it's just like this formulaic crap. Ain't that right, Roddy?
It's not very interesting. They're all great in the ring, but their characters have taken a big step back for me as baby faces.
Yeah.
I talk about it too much, probably everybody knows. All right. So now we're going to get Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas versus MSK, this mystery team. As we let you know sort of in the news, it is Dez and Wentz, and I was quite excited for this. They're my favorite of the Rascals. They're a really good tag team and a welcome addition, and hopefully we get some
And just
emphasis.
a reminder, Dez, a.k.a. Desmond Xavier, is now known as Wesley, and Wentz, a.k.a. Zachary Wentz, is now known as Nash Carter.
And I think, I was going to say, I think I got their names right in my notes, but I already see a Wentz sticking out at me. So anyways.
That's fine.
I tried. Atlas and Carter, see? Battle to no advantage for quite a while to start. Atlas finally gains advantage and tags in Swerve. Lots of running the ropes until Wentz hits a spinning crossbody that looked kind of interesting. Lee is in and works Swerve's arm. Knee by Swerve to stop the momentum, and Lee is the victim of isolation in the heel corner, that classic move. Swerve interferes outside, and Atlas hits a suicide dive.
Like Atlas is a baby face, so it's like it's weird.
Sorry, what's a babyface?
Atlas.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a quick change, right?
Well, just because like he's teaming with Scott, so Scott's like, we doing this.
Right. He's kind of trying to take charge of it, and they don't get along fully. It's reluctant tag teams. What a brilliant, brand new idea that WWE has never done.
It's not even like it's like
20 times in the last month.
It's not even like, why would, like, sometimes there's like a better motives, but like if you are these guys if you don't like each other at all, why would you want to team with the other person? Why would you want to win this? Because the only thing you can get from this is a tag team title shot with the person you don't like.
But generally, wrestlers aren't going to say no. If Regal's like, you guys are in kayfabe, obviously. Hey,
right,
you guys
but
are
like,
together.
I'm just saying, like, why would you want to actually win this? Like, why would you? Right, like, there's just nothing for you there. If you're gonna, you can be a champion with a guy you don't like.
Yeah, which is what they love to do right now. But and it's funny because sure, if you're gonna put them together and it's gonna build some sort of longer story, and maybe it is, but they clearly, spoiler alert, don't go far in this tournament. But anyways, so Atlas hits a suicide dive to Lee and rolls him back in the ring. Lee hits a somersault dive to the outside, and we're back from the commercial with Swerve powering out of a Carter submission hold. Carter ducks under a crossbody and tags in Lee. Lee is on fire and hits a cool sequence ending with a delayed drop kick. He is really quick.
Did he already do that weird crossbody thingy or no?
The twisting crossbody? That was Wentz early on, yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot the name.
It was like a corkscrew. Not cork. I don't know what the right word is.
I think it was
like a barrel roll crossbody.
I would say that's kind of corks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
Something like it was cool. Moonsault with a shove by Carter for 2. So this is a move I've seen them do a bunch.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, is it who does the moonsault?
So Carter, aka Wentz,
right?
Or Wentz, aka Carter, whatever. Carter does the moonsault, and Lee pushes him midair so that he lands on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Whoever.
Yeah, he kind of does it in front of the person on the ground, and then he gets shoved as he's doing the moonsault. Gets shoved by his partner to land on them. It looks neat. Yep. Atlas escapes and tags out. Lee gets a brainbuster from Scott.
You were saying that's their finisher, and that just confuses me because it's basically a standing moonsault.
But it's just people like to see it.
No,
it
does.
Guess.
It looks cool, but like
Lee gets a brainbuster from Scott, a kick, a slam, and a 450 for 2. I thought this was a nice combination by Scott and Atlas. Actually, here probably their best part in this match. Carter breaks up a double team suplex attempt.
Yeah, Swerve and Atlas did have a pretty cool combo there.
They did. Carter breaks up a double team suplex attempt, and he and Atlas tumble to the floor. In the ring, Lee tags as Carter comes back. Lee with a nice poison Rana, like just kind of barely grabbing the guy's head, and then a combo blockbuster spine buster that you liked more than I did. I think that's just like two
I
basic
just think
moves
it looked
together.
cool though.
Yeah.
Looked better than whoever did it in AEW.
And that is what they used to pick up the win here. So they get the win in their debut match. What did you think?
I thought it was actually pretty good. There was the one combo between Scott and Atlas that looked cool, but other than that, they didn't really do much in the way of team offense, which I guess makes sense. But there was also not that much of arguing, so it's like they were just kind of taking turns wrestling. Like it's like there should have been some more storyline development where like they're actually like maybe like they mess each other up by accident or something, you know,
Right.
just like I don't know, something. But other than that, it was a good match, a good debut for MSK.
I thought so too.
It's cool to see them in WWE, and I think their finisher was pretty cool. And like I said, I think they're actually good here because with the pretty lackluster division, they could be a focus.
They could. I thought it was a nice debut by the Rascals as well. They actually got called the Rascals once, right? They referred to them as Rascals.
Yeah. Which
I think
I was like, ooh.
I think they should get some attention. They're fast, athletic, and they can both wrestle, and they've been a team for years, right? So they shouldn't need too much polish other than maybe that quote-unquote WWE style that everyone has to learn, right? They are an actual tag team and not just two wrestlers put together. I thought it was a pretty fun match and a nice surprise to have them in the tournament. And again, like you, I'm hoping that they are a major focus of this tournament just to start them off like
because they have the
star
power, sorry, and they got the in-ring ability and like their experience, right? So.
And you could be pushing this whole tag team specialist from another company, right? I know WWE hates to acknowledge anywhere else, but you don't even have to say them by name, right? Like just say these guys have been tag team specialists that have dominated other companies.
They acknowledge that Fish and O'Reilly were tag specialists from like other companies, right? So why not do that for these guys?
And hit the whole like they wanted to come for the prestigious Dusty Cup, right? And they're here. They're just basically here as ringers to take this cup. Like that would be cool. But
I
anyway,
honestly like want them to win. I think it'd be awesome.
I either want them to win or get cheated out of it by a heel. To lose and then keep chasing those heels. I don't know. That would be cool too. Anyways, next we get a women's Dusty Cup preview package. The only teams I got were Candice and Indy, Casey and Kaden, Tony and Mercedes.
Poor Mercedes.
Shotzi and Ember. Those are the ones that they said were confirmed, right? So
yeah. Okay.
You don't have anything else to add there?
No.
Okay.
Also, I just forgot to mention one of the teams. Like, I saw like the full bracket of the Dusty Cup. One of them is Ashante Theodonis and Desmond Troy. That's just like brutal.
Well, that's filler.
Yes.
Unless they're trying to build a story for them in this tournament. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Anyways, yeah, some of these teams are built and some of them aren't. I would predict Kai and Gonzalez too, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Depends if Gonzalez is super busy right now.
Yeah, and that may now be seen as a step back for her because they've got her so positioned as a single star. We'll see.
Yeah.
And they don't really respect tag teams, so they would see that as a step back probably, even though we necessarily wouldn't. But then we get a Xia Li quick vignette, which is leading us into the commercials telling us she's up next, which is a lie because she's not up next, as we'll see.
Yeah, they don't know the definition of up next, like, geez.
So next, Scarlett is speaking, and I didn't really go line by line. Basically,
it just looked like a recap of the match to me.
Well,
kinda.
And it's lots of her just using figurative language, basically talking about taking Priest out and now moving on to wanting to take out the Prince, which is Balor. I thought it was a unique way to do a very basic promo, right? Like this is the basic, we beat Priest, now we're going to beat you. But she kind of jazzed it up a little bit using all of her figurative language and whatnot. So it was a little more dramatic. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Always nice to see Scarlett on the screen, right? So it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Xia Li versus Blank because
they don't even give us her name, and like in the match is so short, we can't even get her name at all.
They did not mention her name once, and I didn't go look it up because I don't think it mattered too much. So
I just wrote Xia Li versus question mark.
Zaya's entrance is again pretty intense, and she uses a new weapon this week.
Yeah, bow staff, which I thought worked better because it is like a well-known martial arts weapon.
I'm thinking they're gonna try and bust out new ones regularly, right? To show. Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Oh, I'd love to see a nunchucks one.
To show her mastery of these martial arts things, right? So it's kind of interesting. I like the entrance. Again, the weapons use at the end, whatever. I can take it or leave that, but the rest I think is cool. Especially like I like the close up on the woman master, whoever she is, her face, right? And we still can't quite see who it is, so I kind of like that look.
I think there's also some face paint, which is great. I love face paint.
So we get a quick right hand by Zaya, a tornado kick to the face, and it's over, basically, right? Again, the finisher looked good. That kick looks pretty devastating.
Yeah, like I'm saying, as long as it hits good, that's a decent finisher.
And I really liked Barrett here. He said 2 precision strikes and it's over, which I thought was a really nice way of summing that up, right?
Yep.
She's so talented and so whatever great at these martial arts.
Deadly
like 2
now.
strikes and you're dead, basically. So the leader then raises her hand and sort of gestures for sort of gesturing a command, I guess. So Zaya beats on the jobber some more. I wouldn't call her a jobber if I knew her name, but I don't, so I apologize. And hits a running knee to follow the orders.
Like she raises her hand and then Zaya Lee beats up jobber more, and then like she closes her fist and then she hits that running knee.
Right. So what did you think of this? I think you're gonna say standard squash, which is what I'm gonna say.
Standard squash,
too.
but good stuff.
Right. At standard squash, it needs to be this way, right? We talked about it. She has to just dominate people for a while. I'm still wondering.
Yeah, but good for Zaya Lee, though.
I'm still wondering what is this going to look like when she eventually has to lose. So what this reminds me of, sort of, but there is a key difference because she's not. Well, that's not even true. But what this reminds me of is Tensai, right? Like
Really?
he came over as this foreign master of
yeah.
everything. The problem was with him is people knew him as something else beforehand, so they started chanting Albert and just sort of killed everything, which I felt really bad for him because I actually thought that was a cool character, but it was basically like people couldn't handle this guy from Japan clearly isn't Japanese, right? Like, well, so who cares? He's been living there, and he's been living there for a long time.
Yeah, and he dominated there, right?
So anyways, it kind of reminds me of that. Like, she's been repackaged and pushed as this martial arts master, but I think it's being taken a little more seriously, and there's no fans to disagree with it, right? So
I think there is, but there's some fans there. But...
I just worry what you do when it's time for her to lose. Like, I don't know how because she's like an unbeatable martial arts machine, so that's going to be interesting. Anyways, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So next we get Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter are talking backstage about how they can make history as the first tag team to advance next week. They know they're the underdogs, but they like that, and they're going to shock everyone. They're going to win the whole thing and be the first women's Dusty Cup winners. I don't know. I just put a fine babyface promo.
I did not like this. It was just like, it was bland and just boring.
For sure. It was just your standard...
Right.
We're adorable baby faces and we're underdogs, but we believe in ourselves. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah.
Swerve and Atlas are now fighting in the locker room after losing their tag match, obviously. During the commercial, and Bronson Reed steps in to break it up, and basically Swerve is like, why are you sort of defending him and stepping in to help him? And so now it looks like Bronson Reed and Swerve has some heat as they're sort of standing face-to-face backstage.
Swerve does not need this.
I think that's actually a decent pairing because they're kind of similar level, right? So, and Swerve needs...
Yeah, except I see more potential in Swerve and not much for Reed.
And the small, fast guy, big power guy combination's always nice. I don't know. I'm interested in it. We'll see. Both of these guys need something to do, and it gets Atlas out of the picture, so I'm okay with it. So we're already at the main event, which is Breezango versus Undisputed Era in round 1 Dusty Cup match.
Now that went quick.
It did, right? I thought so. I'm like, I'm scrolling going, did I miss something?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Cole and Tyler Breeze are basically going to a stalemate to start. So Strong and Fandango tag in. We get arm work by Fandango until an escape and an attempted stronghold by Strong. Back from the commercial with Breezango in control of Cole now. Suddenly he's in the ring and we sort of missed a chunk there on commercials, but that's okay. Jumping head kick by Cole, but he can't make the tag.
Yeah, they told us to not miss a second. I was trying to tell Dad, but he wouldn't listen.
No, the commercials, I can't do it. I'm not doing picture-in-picture unless it's like, I don't know, if it's like Phoenix Omega, maybe I will or something.
Of course, I am joking. I do not care about NXT commercials unless there's another appearance from Snoop Dogg because I find that funny.
Breeze gets caught with a kick as he goes for a dive and both tag out. We get a clothesline, drop kick, backbreaker, running forearm, and a belly-to-back facebuster for a 2, which was, I thought, a crazy fast sequence. Gutbuster Shining Wizard combo by Undisputed Era for 2. A last call ducked by Fandango, and he tags out. We get a pump kick to Breeze, an inverted backstabber.
Wait, last call? Do you mean last shot?
Sure.
Like the Shining Wizard?
Yes.
That's last shot.
Whatever.
How dare you? It's Adam Cole's finisher.
I've lost my flow. I know, but last call was, I think, James Storm's super kick, I think. So inverted backstabber by Breeze for 2, which Jack wanted me to rewind and check out again. So
it was like a straight jacket backstabber.
I don't know if I've seen it before. It was kind of interesting.
I've seen him do it when we watched Takeover Brooklyn. He did it to Jushin Liger.
Wow, good memory. And clearly I did not remember that. Not a surprise. Strong gets kicked off the apron and Breezango double team Cole for a near fall. Super kick to Breeze, pump kick to Fandango, and a big clothesline by Fandango. And everybody's down now. It was a kind of a cool sequence, and they're now all down on the mat catching their breath. The Brand show up and beat down O'Reilly outside the ring.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
And they're about to smash his jaw into that scaffolding when Balor obviously comes to help now. So we have the numbers game kicks in again, and Dunn kicks O'Reilly's jaw as he's up against the barricade. Cole is distracted by this.
It looked kind of like a knee.
Okay, sure. Some sort of running leg. Cole is distracted just enough by this to take a super kick by Breeze, and then Strong takes out Breeze. Panama Sunrise is countered with a backdrop by Fandango, who jumps off the ropes right into a super kick from Cole for another kind of surprise pinfall, right?
That one confused me more so than the opener. But
so Undisputed Era pick up the win here. What did you think?
I liked it. I think Breezango, we give them a lot of crap. I don't think it's exactly for their in-ring stuff.
It's not.
They are good.
It's not.
So, and Undisputed Era are great in-ring. That's the one part of them that always stays consistent, in my opinion.
Yep.
It was good, and I think Pete Dunne getting involved kind of, I'm not sure what he's gonna do now, because is he gonna feud with O'Reilly, or is he just like taking him out so he can feud with Balor? Like, it's hard to tell.
It is, but I kind of like that, right? AEW does that, where guys have a little bit of tension with a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
so
I like that.
I guess, yeah, you don't know what he's gonna do.
Right. Or he has something set up later, so it's not just out of the blue, right? So
or like
it's
O'Reilly
okay.
could be his first title challenger, because he should definitely
And any
win.
combination of those three is all right by us.
Even
so.
that would be a great triple threat.
It would.
That'd be amazing.
So I thought
at WWE.
I thought the second half of this match was really fun with lots of action and double team moves. Overall, a fun main event with the result I expected, and further drama in the Dunn O'Reilly Balor triangle.
Agreed.
That I hope stay involved with each other, because like I just said, right, there's no bad combination there.
Trio, right?
Yep. Overall, sir.
I thought the show was good. None of the Dusty Cup matches were bad. MSK debuting was a pretty cool
Yep, I like that
surprise. And even Gargano Loomis was decent. The opener was not great, but at least Shotzi wasn't as reckless as usual.
True.
Thatcher and Ciampa's segment was pretty good, and adds build for the Fight Pit. I cannot wait for the Fight Pit.
This kid is so fired up for Fight Pit. I can't even tell you.
I can't wait. I just
I would hazard to say that you might be the most excited person on the planet for Fight Pit.
Yeah, probably. And
that's okay.
One of the main reasons is, besides me not really seeing the first one, is the top platform port really intrigues me.
Talks about this platform quite a bit, people.
Yeah, the top platform port. I don't care too much about like the no ropes thing. That is cool, but there's like a top platform.
There is.
And like they can do moves on that.
Sorry, I distracted you.
Solid B show.
All right. Interesting. We're on a similar wavelength. I thought overall a pretty good show, but not great. Another Xia Li squash. MSK had a good debut. The tag matches were all decent to good. Gonzalez promo I thought was really good. Gargano Loomis was solid. There's nothing I really disliked other than Theory and Gargano getting so mad about drawings. I thought it was a bit silly.
And Shotzi.
This show wasn't quite as entertaining as AEW, but it was still a pretty good show, so I also gave it a B. So
yeah, I thought it was like good, but like not quite AEW's level.
Agree. So, and that's sort of where we go, right? Like, we watched the first one, I give it a rating, and then it's sort of like, well, did I like this as much or less? It does kind of help
the other rating, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep. So the shows were similar, but a slight win this week for me for AEW as well.
I think reflects actually the ratings would probably say that AEW is much better.
Yeah, we'll see. They won by a lot this week. So, but again, like I said, I think the ratings more reflect almost the next week or the near future, because it's basically like, oh, I heard last week's was really good, so I'm gonna watch this week, sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will bring us into our final segment, which is our Any Other Wrestling Business.
Yes, we actually do have like
other business.
Yeah, like
week.
quite a different thing.
So, I'm
thinking you do Impact, and then I got an Impact related thing, so I'll do that after, and then we can cover.
So I usually start out with Ring of Honor, but it was a best of show, and I quickly scrubbed through it and saw that there was no new content, so I don't need to review anything, which is kind of nice.
And then we are both gonna talk about 205 Live, because the 2 matches this week were Dusty Classic first
Right.
round, so that's why we watched it.
And I'm an NXT completist, so I went and found
and
those.
I did
watched
find
it.
out that Troy and Adonis are going to be facing Neeson Davari next week.
Nice.
I think it's actually told us on this show, so we have to watch 205 Live again.
Okay, that's fine. It was a quick watch this week.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm just saying it's another thing we have to watch.
All right, so I'll talk about Impact first. We'll get that out of the way. So
get it out of the way is right.
Previously on Impact, they show us that Sammy had locked Alicia up and beat down Eddie Edwards with Shamrock's help. Then a recap of the Good Brothers' involvement at the end of Dynamite last week, culminating in the group salute that they can't legally call Too Sweet anymore. Then we transition into the opening match, which is Kimber Lee with Deonna Purrazzo versus Taya Valkyrie with Rosemary. The idea of this match is that Lee is going to soften up Taya before Hard to Kill this Saturday or tonight, I guess. And we get a weak suicide dive attempt stopped by Lee. Didn't look good. Taya was clearly slowing up before, taking the... Anyways.
Like coming to a halt.
Yes, so that she didn't really get hit that hard. Lots of submission applied on the mat by Lee. Wasn't very exciting to start. Lee got a lot of offense and controlled most of this match, actually. She got knees up on Taya for a top rope senton to shift the momentum. Purrazzo interferes to put Lee's hand on the ropes to break a hold at one point, and then Susan slowly walks out and takes out Rosemary as Purrazzo helps. So this version of Su Yung, I guess, is helping Deonna Purrazzo. It was a little bit out of the blue, right? We just had met Susan, but I guess apparently she's a heel and helping Purrazzo.
Maybe because Purrazzo and Kimberly were the ones that wanted James Mitchell to...
Yeah, so whatever he did magically made her sympathize with them. I don't know. So they're basically holding they're holding Rosemary on the ramp. Sorry, I had Susan. So Susan and Purrazzo are holding Rosemary, and Taya is distracted by this long enough to get a jackknife pin for the win by Lee, actually. It was a decent match. It got quite a bit of time. It was really just to further the Purrazzo, Taya, Susan storyline heading into Hard to Kill, which is what go-home shows are for, I guess. So it was okay, but it wasn't... I really like this.
Feels like WWE. Someone has, someone with them so that person faces, the challenger or whatever.
Yes.
It's like one of those matches that has something to do with the upcoming match, and then they book that, and then
And I really like this division, and I think this match was below average, and I think Kimberly's probably the culprit. She doesn't thrill me sometimes. She's had some okay tag matches and stuff, but this wasn't great. It was okay. Then we're on the bus with Kenny and the Good Brothers and Don Callis. They're doing their usual shtick, and the Good Brothers are back to selling all their merch, which is a bit annoying. Anderson says that he'll beat Swan tonight without the help of anyone else, so they're going to stay in the bus, I guess. He's going it alone tonight.
Because it is definitely 100% a bus.
So this was nothing really. The Good Brothers were their obnoxious selves again. They're sort of going back to that, which I'm not a fan of, but it was brief at least, so that's all I can say.
Nice.
We get another paid advertisement from Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone, which are almost the highlights of these shows for me these days. Khan said
That's not good for Impact.
The best moments of 2020 for Impact involved his money and the AEW World Championship, before stating that Impact isn't even a real wrestling show, at least not compared to AEW. So again, it's this idea that the owner of your competition pays to have time on your show
to insult you,
rip your company and put his over. So I got time for that. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So they promote matches for the next Impact. He invites Impact to to the next Dynamite. He invites Impact to send anyone they want to New Year's Smash Night 2. And then Schiavone basically ends by calling it TNT a real network, which is not too far from the truth, actually. So I enjoyed this again. It's similar in tone to the other ones, but different insults. And again, it's like, how can Impact ever get even? And I'm not even saying they have to, but you would think they would want to. But I don't know how AEW gets their comeuppance from all of this, right? I guess we'll see.
Right.
This is a stark contrast to the ridiculous comedy that Impact tries to pull off, right? This is just realistic, kind of, and a little more subtle.
This is like what would happen if they were really warring.
Yes, and instead of who shot somebody in the ring and they're gonna have a match for their freedom and not go to jail, stop it. This is more just people insulting each other and being sort of clever and funny about it. That's what I would prefer anyways. But so I like this segment again. Sami Callihan in his dark computer room with some barbed wire in front of him. He announces a barbed wire massacre stipulation for his match with Eddie Edwards at Hard to
I
Kill.
don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I'm sure it's just going to be barbed wire everywhere. Then they replay the same footage that they opened the show with, recapping the attack on Eddie by Sami and Shamrock, which I didn't appreciate because it hasn't been long and we just saw it. I have no interest in this storyline, and this didn't help, just to be brief and blunt with it.
Nice.
Yeah. Josh and Madison talk about previous barbed wire matches being too violent to air on TV, but this one is on pay-per-view so they can show it. They then run down the Hard to Kill card. Did you have that for air later?
Yes.
Okay, so I will not go into details now. Jack can talk about that in a little bit. We then move on to what I thought was the most fun match on this show, I think. Manic and Suicide versus Chris Bay and Rohit Raju. Really fun TV match, especially...
I wonder who's playing Suicide. Do you know?
Yeah, it is Caleb with a K.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's
So
a decent wrestler. I've seen him lots in the indies.
Yeah, wasn't he aligned with Eli Drake and Trevor Lee, remember?
Yes.
When we were watching?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
So, fun TV match, especially for Impact, because it was really fast-paced and involved like 4 capable competitors. It auto-corrected to culpable, meaning like responsible. Anyways. The finish came with all 4 men trading stiff shots, leaving Manic and Rohit Raju in the ring. And then we get a jumping knee from Rohit, connects with Manic. And Rohit then gets distracted by trying to unmask Manic, obviously. But Suicide makes the save with a head kick. And then as Manic sets up for his signature move, Bay hits the Art of Finesse, which is like the springboard cutter, like backwards off the ropes that I like.
Kind of like Cody Cutter, but not top rope.
So he hits that for the win, yeah. A good match. All of these guys can really wrestle. I just wish there was a bit stronger storytelling behind it. I don't love Bay tangled up in this tier of talent because I think he should be in the top tier. But I'll be patient for now because the top tier is getting just smashed by AEW people anyways. So I don't really want that to happen to Chris Bay. Like he just gets destroyed by Omega, even by like Tony Khan's words, you know what I mean? So if you're in the main event scene right now, I'm okay that it's not Chris Bay because I think he's the future of Impact, as I've said many times.
Mm-hmm.
Taya and Rosemary talk backstage. Taya Valkyrie assures Rosemary that she'll be there for her match against Tennille Dashwood tonight. Rosemary disagrees and says that she's going to go it alone because Taya should be taking time to prepare for her championship match at Hard to Kill. And then she says that we'll come up with something for tonight. So there's a little bit of a tease as to someone or something might show up. Rosemary may have help. We'll see.
I wonder who it is because I definitely don't know.
I knew because you asked me a question about a faction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anyways, so we get Diener with Eric Young and Doring versus Tommy Dreamer with Rhino and Cousin Jake. And I ask, why do I enjoy this version of Diener so much? Because I really do. He's just this now intense, angry sort of, I don't know, he's a lot more aggressive and intense. I really like this switch in his personality. He's super aggressive and bites Dreamer to start the match. After about 30 seconds, Doring and Rhino get ejected from ringside for interfering, but Eric Young and Jake are allowed to stay, which I thought was interesting. Because yes, technically they hadn't done anything, but usually they'll just clear out everybody,
Hey,
right?
Dad.
Yes.
Oh, wait, actually, I'll tell you later when it's more relevant.
Okay. Commentary go out of their way to explain this because it was a little bit awkward. Like they're just throwing out half of the people from ringside, but not the other half. Jake pleads with Diener at one point and gets slapped. He can't take it anymore and knocks Diener off the apron for the DQ. So brawling in the ring by all but Doring, who arrives to take down Rhino. Diener DDTs Jake. Eric Young pile drives Dreamer. So this was a non-match, but a decent final push to the pay-per-view match. Because I generally don't like when wrestlers compete with their pay-per-view opponents before the pay-per-view on TV, right? Because it's kind of like I'm trying to look forward to seeing these guys wrestle. I don't want to see them wrestle now, and you know what I mean? I just keep it fresh for the pay-per-view. So I was fine with this match getting cut short. Diener is cool, although he wasn't constantly looking to Young for approval this week or direction, which I kind of missed because I thought that was a really cool detail last week, that everything he did, he was then looking at Young for either approval or for what he was supposed to do next, and I thought that was a cool touch, but he's still a very interesting character change. All right, so we get a video recap of the Knockouts tournament, the tag team tournament so far, and hype for the finals that are coming up. The recap was fine, but my general thoughts, this tournament has been underwhelming for me. I was looking forward to this tournament, and I speak highly of the Knockouts division all the time, and I still think it's a very loaded division. But this tournament has not been very exciting, and the matches really haven't been better than most of their TV matches anyways. Hogan and Steels better win this, or I'm going to be really annoyed. I'll tell you right now.
You were telling me that
on our
earlier,
walk,
yeah.
I was. So the 2 remaining Knockouts tag teams are seated at a conference table with Scott D'Amore and had just signed their contracts for the match. So we're led to believe they've just signed the contracts, and this is when we sort of pick up in this meeting. So D'Amore briefly says something inconsequential, and then Steels and Hogan just go off the way that only they can do, with lots of yelling and attitude, and they start walking around the ring and just yelling at Nevaeh and Havoc and just the whole thing until they get grabbed by the throats by Nevaeh and Havoc, who say generic "we're gonna win" stuff, and D'Amore leaves and runs.
Nice description.
Yeah, right. D'Amore leaves and immediately runs into Brian Myers, and it's cool because you can still hear Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan running their mouths in the background. Steelz and Hogan. Here's my hot take for this week, and you guys know I love Steelz and Hogan, but I'm saying this here now. Steelz and Hogan are one of the best acts in wrestling, period, as far as I'm concerned right now. They are always entertaining. They steal every scene that they're in. They're already good enough in ring, and if they keep improving at the rate they have, they will be huge. They have to win the titles and have a long run with them, or I'm going to honestly lose a little bit of faith in Impact. I feel that strongly about this. These women are so entertaining. If they come on the screen, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and pay attention, and there's almost no other act in this company that does that for me.
Hey, folks, I wonder if he likes them.
They're amazing. They're good enough in the ring, and their character work and everything else is off the charts. So
Nice.
They are stars.
Nice.
So they better win and have a long run with those belts. They'll look amazing with those belts. They can have so many promos and just fun. Anyways, they have to win. Have to win. So Myers is talking to D'Amore in the hallway, and he's whining and listing his wins. When Josh, because one of them was against Alexander, right? So Alexander walks up and takes exception to Myers saying that he beat Alexander because it was a simple DQ. D'Amore suggests that they settle their issue in a match.
Is this why they're facing off?
Yes.
I was confused.
Yes, and it's going to be a no DQ match. I think D'Amore wasn't super clear, but he made it sound that way. Myers thinks Team Canada is colluding against him when he leaves because D'Amore and Alexander are Canadian. I like this. I think Myers is a really good, like, slimy heel. He deserves a higher profile in Impact, and then I put, and maybe nowhere else. Right? This is the place he belongs. This is the level of a company he belongs in, and he should be focused on a bit more, in my opinion. It's simple, realistic storytelling, which could pay off in a good match between these two. It briefly reminded me of their history, right? Because I often need that reminder, and it furthered the storyline. So that's all I ask. Like, yes, you beat me before, but it was kind of a cheap DQ. So let's play that forward, right? So I had no problem with that segment. Tennille Dashwood then faces Rosemary, and Tennille attempts to befriend Rosemary to start, but Rosemary starts throwing her around the ring, and it's a back and forth match as Calby, I don't know how that came up, but anyways, Caleb gets on the apron to try and distract Rosemary. Crazy Steve, like, sort of appears, pops up at ringside right behind Caleb and chases him away. So this is the we she was referring to, obviously. But Caleb slips the hairspray to Dashwood as he runs by, which I thought was kind of clever. Tennille tries to use the hairspray, but Rosemary reverses it and hits a spear for the win.
This is what I wanted to tell you. Sorry.
Yep.
But so I was asking about Decay and like a crazy. I was gonna say one of them I thought was Stevie Richards, but then Crazy Steve is this guy.
Yeah.
And he looks different in Decay. He had like long hair, and I figured out who the third member was because I couldn't remember. It was Abyss.
Oh right.
And he just had like face paint.
That's right.
I forgot. So yeah.
Nice.
They used to be a faction.
They did.
Rosemary, Crazy Steve, and then also Abyss.
Yep. I thought this was a pretty good match. Steve and Rosemary reuniting may mean that Taya can move on, maybe from the company, unfortunately, and that's good for her. She should be back in the top tier of Knockouts division, in my opinion, and not doing comedy stuff with Rosemary. And not that Rosemary's not good either, but they just don't. I don't find they go well together. And to me, Taya should be in the mix for the very top of that division all the time, basically. Rich Swann talks tough, and something about his delivery makes it feel like he is barely remembering some of his lines, and it takes me out of it. It's like he's struggling to remember some parts of it. Tonight, when he destroys Anderson, they'll get a preview of what will happen at Hard to Kill, and Anderson can go back to the bus and tell his buddies that they're going to get their butts kicked. This was fine, and sometimes I find him bad, so at least it wasn't as bad as it could be. The last half was better than the first, but no Swann promos really dazzled me, to be honest. Ethan Page's journey towards his breakdown and the appearance of Karate Man is recapped. I won't get into it. I'm just wondering how will this work, and we talked about it, right?
Yeah, I'm very like, cause in the late 90s they were able to do like the promo
Right.
with the three faces of Foley, but like how are they gonna pull off a match?
So I am intrigued and skeptical at the same time, right? Like I do
Agreed.
want to see it, but I'm not sure it's going to be done well. But I still want to see it. So
Yep.
we'll see how it goes.
It's
Then we
like
get
the intrigue, kind of like Legends Night, dare I say, just like that weird kind of intrigue, I guess.
yeah,
Well, I
it
wasn't
is
intrigued. I
just
just
to
wanted.
see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
might be a train wreck, but I'll still watch it probably.
Hmm.
Then we get a return match. Super exciting. Moose versus Matthew Palmer. Remember, he lasted the 3-minute challenge last week because Moose was distracted by Willie Mack, I think it was.
Mm.
So anyways, Palmer attacks quickly and repeatedly with drop kicks that have little effect until Moose finally overpowers him. Moose dominates with Palmer only getting in one flurry of knees somewhere near the beginning. Moose wins when the referee stops the match as Moose is raining down forearms from a full mount position as he did with Willie Mack. It was nothing special. It went as it should, and it has Moose dominating, and it was an appropriate length. It was just a squash match, so whatever. Then we get another recap of the Omega Mega Callis storyline before we get to our main event, which is Carl Machine Gun Anderson versus Rich Swann in a non-title match, and the partners are barred from ringside. So we briefly see Callis, Omega, and Gallows are watching the match from the bus, and the Motor City Machine Guns are watching from some other location in the building, it looks like. And it's a competitive match that ends when Swann counters the gun stun into a roll-up for the win. The bus is empty, and Josh tells us bus is empty as Josh tells us, and Omega and Gallows bust in on the Motor City Machine Guns room where they were watching it. And then they start to brawl, obviously, and then Swann shows up and Anderson shows up, and they all join in and they all brawl to end the show. I thought the match was good. Both of these guys can really go. But again, I don't love that they're giving a chunk of the pay-per-view main event here, right? 2 days before. Ideally, for me at least, you're building it up so that I can't wait to see them fight, and not by having them actually fight before the actual match. But my complaints aside, it was still a very good TV match and a good Impact main event, to be honest. Anderson is a really good wrestler, and if I'm booking, he gets a push and he gets a feud with Josh Alexander near the top of the card. I think both of those guys can wrestle. They could have a really interesting feud. But anyways, and Swann, in my opinion, should go back to the X Division. This experiment of him as the champion of your company has failed, in my opinion. But I guess maybe it's just because he's going to get absolutely dominated by the champion of another company anyways. So maybe that was why they put it on Swann. I don't know, but we'll see. Overall, the show was pretty good. No standout wrestling. The X Division tag match was very fun. Nothing was really bad either. The Tony Khan segment was interesting. Steels and Hogan were awesome as always. And did you notice what was there not this week, Jackson? In my recap,
Who shot Johnny Bravo?
correct. Not one segment from Wrestle House or Who Shot Johnny Bravo.
Whatever you want to call it.
So that gets them almost like a half letter grade bump for me. So I gave this show a B because of what it had and also what it didn't have, if I'm being honest, right?
Which is, I guess, like that it's good it wasn't there, but that's not good that makes it better.
Right. No, it's not. That the lack of something, I'm like, something so bad was missing. So I like the, that's
Right.
it's unfortunate, but it's true. So that ends my Impact. What do you have for any other wrestling business?
So besides our 205 Live coverage, I've got
Right.
a finalized card for Hard to Kill.
Right. Do you want to go over that
Yep.
for a second?
Yes, sir. So we got Sammy Callahan, versus Eddie Edwards in the Barbed Wire Massacre match. I honestly kind of want to see that just because I'm very confused by the name. We got Knockouts Championship match. Deonna Purrazzo versus Taya Valkyrie. Knockouts Tag Team Tournament Final. Havoc and Nevaeh versus Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. And X Division Championship, Manic, aka TJP, obviously, defends against Chris Bay and Rohit Raju. Old School Rules match, which I think it's just no DQ, perhaps tornado tag, maybe. Eric Young, Joe Doring, and Diener versus Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and Cousin Jake. Ethan Page versus the Karate Man. Rosemary and Crazy Steve versus Tenille Dashwood and Caleb with a K, aka Caleb Conley.
Okay, Suicide.
Countdown to Glory pre-show. Josh Alexander versus Brian Myers.
Yep.
So, poor Alexander's on the pre-show.
So I don't know. The card looks okay. I mean, there's a few things I'm
Oh
looking
yeah, and
forward
then
to.
there's also the 6-man tag. The
Of course,
Omega and the Good
the
Brothers.
main
There's
event.
Rich Swann, Chris Sabin, and Moose.
So I'm interested to see
Oh yeah, Moose replaces Shelly for no reason.
if this helps their buy rates. I don't even know if I can find like, you know what I mean, to see how if
I'm just interested to see what Barbed Wire Massacre is, and then I guess the main event. So I might
and
watch
Kira
this, like,
Hogan and Tasha Steelz winning,
sure, whatever.
winning.
I don't know. Since we're watching a movie tonight, I don't know. I'll watch it tomorrow if you want to
Yeah,
watch
we can try
it.
and find time. We'll
Watch
see
some of it.
between football games or something, or
Yeah.
while I'm watching football
Well, we
games.
did that. We did this for, I think, what was it? Was it Bound for Glory that we watched?
While
Yeah,
you're
'cause it
watching a
was the-
movie.
What?
Oh yeah, we did. We came down here and watched it.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
there's one thing I was watching kind of while we were watching a movie. I had it on my iPad. I forget what that was. Some lesser TNA thing, I think. Anyways, or sorry, Impact.
What's it called? The thingy that you like?
One of their non-pay-per-view pay-per-views, I think.
Ring kicking?
No. Anyways, we're off topic here.
That's what it's called, right?
Yes, it was ring kicking. I did enjoy that back in the day. All right, so let's talk about 205 Live that we just watched sort of right before we sat down to record this the first time.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
god, it's almost 5.
So 205 Live had 2 matches from the Dusty Cup, Legado del Fantasma versus Bollywood Boys being the first one. It was funny listening for me to the 205 commentary team trying to make Legado sound legit.
Oh my god, how is Nigel McGuinness not on NXT?
Right? And they're talking about this, I guess, because in theory, there's people that watch 205 Live and don't watch NXT, so they're trying to make it sound like Legado are a much stronger competitors than they actually have been booked to be, so that was funny.
That was kind of funny.
So Sunil and Mendoza start, and the Bollywood Boys isolate him and make tags. Arm work mixed with bursts of speed by the Bollywood Boys early. Wild in, and it's the same for him at first, including quick tags and double team moves. We get a distraction by Mendoza and a DDT by Wild to shift the momentum, I was going to say, to the heels, but there was this weird heel versus heel match and then a face versus face match, which was interesting. Quick tags and a running corner clothesline by Legado to Samir. Miscommunication and Legado are down outside and a hot tag to Sunil.
And just for those of you who don't know, Bollywood Boys are former Jinder Mahal goons.
Good Canadian kids. Double axe handle from the top by Sunil for 2. Samir and Mendoza up top until what is that? Oh, the Bollywood Boys hit a superplex elbow drop combo, which I thought looked pretty good. Cool. Yeah, it was. Samir gets taken out into the steps outside.
It's kind of have a half-baked powerplex, but still.
Yep. Samir is taken out by the steps outside, and Sunil takes a botched something. It was like an electric chair toss of Wild into
Yeah, there's a weird botched thing. Yeah.
Like, I think it was supposed to be an electric chair toss into a code breaker, but the code breaker part was really hard to tell what it was. So I don't even
remember what it looked like exactly now, but I remember it being botched. Like, I made a note of it.
Yeah,
so.
It wasn't good.
Oh yeah, there's some TikTok reference.
I did not catch that.
I can't remember.
As I'm not a hip person.
I just knew it was something. It was some dance because like Vic Joseph was like, during the Bollywood Boys entrance, I'll dance with you if you win the tournament, and then they made some TikTok reference.
Sure.
And it was dumb.
Okay. Legado then hits a Claymore Russian leg sweep combination for the win.
I think it was like more of like a shin kick, less of a Claymore. Like, you know, like, do you remember the Riot kick by Ruby Riot?
Yes.
Kind of like that.
Okay. I thought this was a pretty fun match, despite the kind of weird heel versus heel dynamic, making things a bit awkward at times, because each team kind of had a turn being the face in peril, even though none of them are faces, so that was odd, but I still enjoyed the match. Bollywood Boys are a veteran team, and I thought this was a pretty good match, excluding the unfortunate botch right before the finish. You?
Yeah, it was okay. I don't think either the matches this show were bad, but this one was like, it was fine. It was nothing too great, but nothing offensive either.
Okay. So Dane and Maverick are now backstage, and Maverick wants Dane to cheer up since it's the Dusty Cup. Maverick points out that he's wearing jeans tonight, so they have matching gear. I thought that was kind of funny. Dane wants their theme song gone, and Drake promises it will be, and he plays a few seconds of their new theme on his phone. Dane cuts him off because he heard enough that it's different, so he's like, that's fine, it's good enough, it'll do, and he walks away. I think Drake is just an excellent performer, and actually this dynamic here that bugged me at first, it's growing on me. I think it's good. Drake says a lot and tries to win over his partner, and Dane says very little, is reluctant to get on board, so I think it's kind of working for me right now. Not gonna lie.
Yep. Oh, and it's weird. Drake Maverick was the former 205 Live general manager, so it's kind of weird that he's wrestling now. Yeah.
That's true. And they never mention that, obviously.
Yeah.
So then we get Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus Kurt Stallion and August Gray. So Gray is wearing some Dusty tribute gear. He's got like a Dusty t-shirt on, and I think he has like polka dots on his knee pads, and they actually still refer to him as the Throwback, so I don't know if that gimmick is still around or...
Well, he was like he was like retro Danny Green, so I don't think it's like his gimmick exactly, but it's at least like a
Well, yeah,
like
because they literally said he's a throwback, and he thinks
like
of
a
himself
nod.
as an 80s guy.
It's like a nod to that at
Yeah.
least.
So Dane and Drake's theme is still basically the same after the first few seconds, and Dane is annoyed. And then one of the commentators, which is a ridiculous comment, says it's a Marilyn Manson combined with Teletubbies, and it doesn't really sound like either of those things, so good job. And as someone who used to listen to Marilyn Manson and saw him in concert, no, it does not sound like that. So they point out that Dane is over the 205 weight limit. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Way over it. The only other person who I can think was over, who was on it, I think Gold Dust
Right.
was on 205 Live a bit for some reason.
And he is definitely over 205 as well. So Stallion and Drake start, and Stallion hits a shoulder tackle, rope running, and a Stallion thrown outside twice by Drake. Hip toss and a leg lariat and an arm drag by Drake, who dances a lot in between, which I thought was weird because this is like a important
skipping.
tournament match, and he's like goofing around a little bit. Gray gets tagged in, and he yells at Drake, who then tags out. And it's kind of funny because Gray's like yelling at him and calling him on and stuff, and then he tags out, and Dane comes in, and Gray is suddenly less interested in any of this. Right, he's not quite so tough anymore. So Dane overpowers Gray to start and hits shoulder tackle and no sells a Gray. Gray does a running cross body, and Dane just stands there, and the kid kind of bounces off of him. Drake comes back in, and they hit a trip senton combo, followed by Dane slamming Drake on top of Gray. Dane puts Drake in a fireman's carry and spins him around to take the competitors out. So it's lots of Dane using his partner as a weapon now. Quick combination strikes by Stallion and Gray to Dane, but Dane immediately suplexes both of them at the same time. Drake tags in, but insists that Dane dive onto their opponents. Dane acts like he's going to, but instead he grabs Drake and throws him over the top rope onto Gray and Stallion instead. Drake's talking to Dane during the match has been pretty entertaining so far. His sort of ring banter and the dynamic between himself and Dane I was quite enjoying, actually. Stallion hits a cool modified air raid crash onto his knee. We get a headbutt suplex combo by Drake and Gray. To Drake by Gray and Stallion. And at this point, I really can't tell if Stallion and Gray are faces or heels, right? Like, I thought they were baby faces, but it's hard to tell because Drake so clearly is. Anyways, Drake is now the face in peril with the hot tag to Dane. Dane overpowers both with throws, clotheslines, and suplexes and a shotgun dropkick that I thought looked pretty good. We get a senton atomico and a running cross body by like a 300-pound Killian Dane for a 2 count. A zigzag by Drake. Did you notice that?
Nope.
Stealing moves. Zigzag by Drake, and all four men are in the ring.
Dolph Ziggler's move.
Yep. Gray hits a spinning slam to Drake, only to be immediately hit by a running senton by Dane. We get a super kick German combo by Gray and Stallion to Killian Dane for 2 that looked pretty good. Drake and Dane set up for a combo move, but Gray sneaks up behind, so Drake changes his plans and hits a crossbody to Gray, followed by a power bomb to Stallion by Dane. Drake comes to high-five Dane, but Dane grabs him and power bombs him onto Stallion for the pin and the win.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Again, not a terrible match, but it was fun. Also, did you know Angel Garza was in TNA?
What?
Did you know Angel Garza was in TNA?
No, I did not.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it was a good match. Like I said, neither of these matches were bad.
I think I enjoyed this one more than you.
I think I like this one better than the other one, though, at least.
I thought this was fun. It had lots of action. I thought Drake and Dane's chemistry was actually improved a bunch, and I actually found it interesting when I used to find it annoying. Drake's ring banter was entertaining. The young guys looked pretty good too, and could start as a tag team if NXT decides to focus on the division. This might have been my favorite first round match so far, actually, and it wasn't even on NXT, so I thought that was interesting. Despite each of the matches having odd heel-face dynamics, with no faces in the first match, and kind of unclear in the second, I still found them enjoyable, and it made this half hour fly by, right? Like it was nothing. So they must have done something right. No, it was like 33 minutes.
That's weird.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty
enjoyable.
It
was a pretty quick show, and we do get Adonis and Troy versus Nice and Davari next week.
Amazing.
Which means we have to watch it again.
Yep. That's okay, I'll do it. Do you have any other wrestling business to discuss?
No, I do not.
No? So that will transition us into our final segment every week, which is where Jack takes a few minutes to update us on the world of wrestling action figures, and that is Figuring It Out.
Yes. So I do only have one thing, but then I have another thing that's not really figures, but is something else.
Related somewhat.
Something, yeah.
It's okay.
So there's been new images leaked for one of those basic rings, with like the spring-loaded mat and
Yep.
whatnot, like the smaller ones. And they're alright. And this one's actually cool because you do get a couple figures with it. It's like a WrestleMania ring, WrestleMania 36 stickers on for like the apron and whatnot. You get a John Cena, which they've released, I think, basic 106 and top picks a couple times. So nothing new there, and then you get Funhouse Bray, which is the same as basic 111, except instead of khaki pants, he's got like blue pants, so it is technically exclusive.
Blue Pants.
Okay.
Shout out to Blue Pants.
Sure.
NXT people,
Okay. Yes. So yeah, a decent exclusive Bray Wyatt there. And then there's a bunch of new side plates, championship side plates on WWE's shop website. So I just wanted to. There's new Charlotte side plates for like her NXT championship run.
Right.
So like the square design, they look cool. It's like it says Charlotte at the top, and then like Flair, but like the A, it's like the shape of her robe, and then
cool.
like.
I believe you're referring to the most popular star,
Oh yeah.
most
sure.
viewed star on NXT
Yeah,
2020, buddy.
Yeah, and then next we got Bobby Lashley's side plates, which he has right now for his U.S. title. It's got like Bobby at the top, Lashley on the bottom, and like a BL logo in the middle.
Nice.
In a circle. Then we got Karrion Kross side plates, and these look pretty nice. It's like that cool double.
Really? For a guy who had a belt for
I know.
5 minutes?
But it's got like that cool KK logo that you liked.
Yeah.
And it says Karrion Kross at the bottom.
Nice.
With like the crow kind of in the middle.
Yep.
That looks pretty nice. We got Breezango side plates. It's got like this B logo, the B logo with like this kind of elegant design around it, and then Breezango at the bottom. It's the square design again for the NXT titles. Looks pretty nice. Jeff Hardy's side plates from his Intercontinental title run. These are pretty cool. It's like got that JH logo that also has like the face design on it, and Jeff Hardy on
as long as it's not the belt he designed. Woo-wee.
Damian Priest side plates were here, but maybe they got sold out because like they were here. Oh
really?
No, they're way down here. Never mind. I'll show you after. I'm just going through the order. Got Sami Zayn side plates. These are plain, just say Sami Zayn in a nice font.
Right.
But they get the job done. They look pretty nice. Then we got. These aren't new. They've been here for a bit, but I will cover them because they are nice. Finn Balor's new side plates. Just got like the B kind of logo with the X through it, and then Finn Balor on it. That looks pretty nice. So I think along with Charlotte, Balor's like the only person to have two different sets of side plates, like where like he's got the round ones and the square ones.
Yeah.
Because like Bray Wyatt has 3 different ones actually. He's got ones that are just hurt and heel, and then ones that are like like the Fiend face.
Yes.
And he's got his ones from like when he was WWE champion, like his first run. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of stuff for a guy who hasn't done much.
And so then the Damian Priest ones, where are those at? They just have Damian Priest. I know, but those have Damian Priest in nice font. That's why I'm describing them.
Okay.
Damian Priest in like a cool. It's not like Sami Zayn where it just says Sami Zayn. It says Damian Priest, but it's like kind of like a logo kind of thing.
Yep.
And Io Shirai, it just says Io Shirai, and then Genius of the Sky underneath, which is cool. Imperium just says Imperium diagonally, and yeah, that's it.
You got to be a big fan to be buying Imperium side plates, no?
Yeah, I know.
I guess.
It's just, I mean, they had the titles for a bit, so.
You just hate money, or you have too much money lying around. I don't know.
I mean, if Karrion Kross has side plates, and he held them for 1 day.
Right.
And Finn Balor has Universal title side plates, and he held it for 1 day. So
True.
Well, actually, Kross held it for longer.
They probably had him ready to print before he got hurt, and just were like, now what do we do? Put him on sale.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, some cool side plates, and then you've got your other ones like the ones of Shinsuke's are recent because of his Intercontinental run. And then you got like the ones that have been here forever, like Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Charlotte, Balor, Sasha, Rollins.
Nice. Lots of people.
They even got weird ones like Shawn Michaels, Warrior, Stone Cold, DX, NWO, Savage. Guys who like haven't actually held the title, but just like kind of Legends ones.
Right. And
speaking of Legends ones, I just want to cover like they released some Legends ones like a little while back, not too recent. I mean recently, sorry. You got Ric Flair. They got blue background, says Nature Boy at the top, blue at the bottom, Ric Flair kind of logo in the middle, which looks cool. You got Mankind one, which says Have a Nice Day at the top, Mankind at the bottom, and like the smiley face with like the Mankind mask on it.
Yes.
It's got that in the middle, which actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lita's got side plates, with a cool kind of Lita logo, and then Eddie Guerrero's got side plates. Eddie Guerrero at the top, Latina Heat at the bottom, kind of like a rose in the middle. And China's also got side plates. Ninth Wonder of the World kind of goes around, and then China in the middle.
Mhm.
Booker T's, it says Booker T at the top, and then 5X, referring to 5-time at the bottom.
Are you listing every side
I don't
plates
know.
they have in the
No,
world?
I'm just going through
We're
these new
we're
ones.
at 2.5 hours in our second
Okay.
time.
I
you know?
got one more after this. And then like when he does like the hand thing before the spinneroonie?
Yes.
It's that. And then Bret Hart, it's the Hitman Bret Hart, the heart thingy.
Cool.
Yes. Side plates are fun. I have Dean Ambrose ones, which they don't sell anymore.
You do have those.
Yes.
That was one of your favorite Christmas gifts from a
Yes.
few years ago.
Okay, we're done.
Anything else? That's it? All right. Well, that finishes take 2 of episode 26.
The second time we've had to do this.
So hopefully you couldn't tell if we hadn't mentioned it a few times, but we thank you as always for joining us on FNS Wrestling Podcast every Saturday or whenever you find the time to listen to us. We always appreciate it. So we hope you enjoyed the show, and as always, we will see you back here at the same place, similar time next week. So until then, take care.